core of the two engines, which is built with components so strong and resistant to be considered practically indestructible.
Practically indestructible? What, bro, it's not a nuclear reactor. What do you mean? They're just engines on a plane. They're not built to be indestructible. They're probably built to achieve a certain thrust to weight ratio. Is that what you build for planes? That's what they're built for. They're like, I don't think the engines are supposed to endure any sort of traumatic event. They're not supposed to be part of the like safety factor of the plane crashing. They're just built to maintain a certain like thrust to weight ratio, so your plane can get off the fucking ground. Well, like, what is the theory even that no plane ever crashed? I think the theory that this is running with is that military drones were swapped out for the civilian planes, and those were what were crashed into the everything. Yeah. Can you explain what happened? I don't know why it's a nuclear reactor. They're not indestructible either. F4?
Which is built with components so strong and resistant to be considered practically indestructible. Now for the biggest mystery of all, the exit hole. According to the official version, it was the
Jesus Christ. I'll just throw this here and I'll try to read it later. Didn't Sully's flight go down because some birds hit an engine? I think birds hit both engines. It was double engine failure. That was a super omega unlucky turn of events at like a lower altitude. I think than any civilian airliner had lost engine pressure before. Fuck! They made a movie of that with, I think, Tom Hanks. That's supposed to be good.
fuselage of the plane that created this hole in the wall of the C-ring. On September 15, 2001, the Pentagon renovation manager stated, the plane penetrated through the E-ring, D-ring, C-ring. The nose of the plane just barely broke through the inside of the C-ring, so it was extending into AE drive a little bit. The AE drive is the internal alley separating the C-ring from the B-ring. But how could the fuselage have made it all the way through the wall of the C-ring?
Un aereo che pesa 120 tonnellate, lanciato a 800 km/h, impatta una facciata, la trapassa. Nel trapassarla viene tritato dalle colonne che ci sono in mezzo, a mo' di grattugia, se volete, passate questo termine, e alla fine quel che rimane sono solo frammenti molto piccoli. Quel poco che rimane in fondo arriva dall'altra parte.
If the fuselage is only a cylinder and it gets cut and ground by the columns in 1,000 pieces, how can it retain the circular shape needed to punch this almost perfectly round hole in the wall? This is where the explanations by the debunkers become absolutely fascinating.
Well, isn't that what you would expect exactly, though? I mean, like, it's not gonna, if I never took any engineering classes. If you have a cylinder going through something, my assumption would be as soon as any sort of shear force is applied, it's completely fucked. It's going to just be completely destroyed. But insofar as it's only going forward and you only have compressive forces applied to the front, it's going to keep moving forward in that direction. Like a cylinder is not going to turn to the side and keep going. As soon as it's lost that velocity, where velocity is a speed and a direction, right? Once the direction is gone, then it's just going to completely be gone. It's going to evaporate. But insofar as it's maintaining that consistent direction, I would expect it to punch through as a whole.
Mass of the plane penetrated the building with enormous energy and continued into the building in a state almost more like a liquid than a solid.
Then encountered reinforced concrete columns 2 feet thick. So the aircraft was flying through a forest of columns.
The plane became almost like an artillery shell or a tank round. What actually came out, it was a circular ball of fire, which is how fire goes when it moves. That's why it has a perfectly round shape.
By this time, there was an avalanche of debris that was moving as a single mass, much as in an avalanche of snow.
Whether it was a liquid mass, a ball of fire, or an avalanche of snow, all these hypotheses are flatly contradicted by the Pentagon Building Performance Report, a document published in 2003 by the American Society of Civil Engineers. In assessing the condition of the columns on the first floor, the report reads, columns 3G, 3H, 3J, and 5J were damaged but still standing, although in the direct path of the fuselage. It is highly unlikely that any significant portion of the fuselage could have retained structural integrity at this point in its travel. The aircraft frame most certainly was destroyed before it had traveled a distance that approximately equaled the length of the aircraft. The length of the aircraft is 155 feet, which is roughly half the distance between the entry and the exit holes. That no substantial part of the fuselage reached the wall of the C-ring was also confirmed by the first eyewitnesses who described the damage inside the Pentagon.
So the plane went in to the E, D, and to the C-ring.
What was the name of that report? Did anybody hear what it was? Do you think the narrators for these videos end up getting convinced by them? Who knows? Pentagon wall performance report. So then would the so then the assumption would be that they blew a hole in the other end of the building to make it look convincing, I guess. You are conflating gibberish that no smart person believes with 9/11 truth for grown-ups, which is that Israel.
You're conflating gibberish that no smart person believes with 911 truth for grown-ups, which is that Israel is behind it. You should debate Brian Dawson on this. He will give you another free education.
Yeah, I'm good. He's doing okay on his side of the internet. He can maintain himself over there, okay? The theory is it wasn't a plane, but an artillery or missile. No, the theory is that it was unmanned military drones, is I think what this film is running with.
Not all the way through the C-ring.
Question. Given that, according to the Pentagon Building Performance Report, the aircraft frame most certainly was destroyed before it had traveled a distance that approximately equaled the length of the aircraft, and that it is highly unlikely that any significant portion of the fuselage could have retained structural integrity from that point on, can you explain what caused the almost perfectly round exit hole in the outer wall of the C-ring? In conclusion, we have an opening on the first floor that's a bit more than half the projected wingspan of a 757. The tip of the left wing and most of the right wing missing without a valid explanation. The horizontal stabilizers and the tail also missing without a valid explanation. A fuselage that behaved more like a warhead than an empty cylinder made with aluminum. No trace whatsoever of the core of the two engines, and an exit hole on the C-ring that no one can rationally explain. Given all these facts, we must conclude that the damage observed at the Pentagon is not compatible with and must have been created by something other than a Boeing 757.
Wow.
The mystery of what hit the Pentagon could have been easily solved if the FBI had released the videos from dozens of surveillance cameras that are placed all around the impact zone.
Yeah, there were a lot of cameras around the Pentagon. If you look at the Pentagon, you can see that there's cameras on each corner. There's cameras at some of the businesses around the Pentagon. And we know in those cases, the tapes were confiscated immediately by the FBI within hours of the event.
When a Freedom of Information Act requesting all the videos covering the impact zone was filed, the FBI agent in charge of the tapes responded, "The FBI possessed 85 videotapes that might be potentially responsive to plaintiff's FOIA request. But," concluded the agent, "I determined that only one videotape showed the impact of Flight 77 into the Pentagon on September 11, 2001. This is the tape we have all seen many, many times." The FBI could have released all the videos anyway, just to allow the public to see by themselves what was actually shown in each of them. but for some reason, they preferred to keep them under wraps.
I've filmed before down at the Pentagon before 9/11. There's got to be at least 100 video cameras ringing that building, in the trees, everywhere. They've got that plane coming with 100 angles. I want to see the video. I want to see 100 videos that exist of this. Why don't they want us to see that plane coming into the building?
Not only has this question never been answered, but an in-depth analysis of the only footage of the impact ever released contains a dramatic surprise.
Uh-oh.
Initially, the DoD released these 5 frames taken from a Pentagon parking security camera.
But
later on, in 2006, the DoD released the entire sequence from which the 5 frames had been extracted. The time-lapse sequence runs at approximately 1 frame per second, and it shows the moments leading up to the impact, the large explosion, and the billowing fire that ensued. Unfortunately, the video does not show the airplane in transit. All we can see in the frame preceding the explosion is what appears to be the tail of an airplane followed by a trail of white smoke. But the body of the plane remains covered by this concrete column standing in the foreground.
Convenient.
The Department of Defense also released a second video taken by a different camera from the same parking lot. The second camera was actually located in the very column that obscured the view of the plane in the first video. This aerial shot of the Pentagon shows the actual location of the 2 cameras. The second camera faces in the same direction as the first, and it offers a clear, unobstructed view of the same field of action. By using the moment of the explosion, we can synchronize the 2 cameras with absolute frame-by-frame accuracy. By synchronizing the 2 cameras, we notice that the second video begins earlier than the first, while the first lasts longer than the second. This leaves us with a middle comment section of about 100 frames, which are perfectly synchronized with each other. From the moment the police car moves on, the action proceeds in an identical manner both in the frames preceding the explosion and in those following the explosion. Especially in the second part of the videos, after the explosion, we can verify how each couple of frames depicts exactly the same action by looking at the shape of the billowing smoke. This confirms that the 2 cameras were operating in perfect synchronization. This is only to be expected. After all, the 2 cameras were controlled by a centralized recording system called multiplexer, or TLR. There is, however, one pair of frames from the 2 videos that shows a completely different action from one another. They happen to be the 2 frames in which the plane travels across the lawn. It's frame 23 in the relative count. As the first video showed the tail and the trail of smoke, we would expect the second camera placed in this concrete column to show the entire body of the plane in the same position.
But
it does not. In the corresponding frame, camera 2 shows only the tip of the plane entering frame from the right-hand corner. But how can the nose of the plane be behind the tail at the same moment in time? The synchronization...
Okay. He's gonna make a better explanation for this, but like, this is kind of related to frame latency on a GPU, right? To where... Oh man, how can I explain this? If you have a refresh rate on a monitor that's 60 hertz, how would I do this? I'm hoping he's going to explain this. He must know this. Okay. Let's say that you have a refresh rate on a monitor, and that refresh rate is 60 hertz. Okay. Why do I keep opening Paint when I'm trying to open a calculator? That means that every frame that you see, you're going to get one new frame on your monitor every 0.16 seconds. Okay. That's going to be the length of space between your frames, okay? Is 0.16 seconds. The scary thing, or not scary thing, we'll say this is with a 60 hertz refresh rate on a monitor, okay? If you get a monitor that has twice the refresh rate, let's say it's 120 hertz, okay? One of the benefits of having a higher refresh rate monitor is that you're guaranteed to be grabbing a frame from the GPU that is at most 0.08 seconds old. When you're drawing on a 60 hertz screen, you always run the risk of grabbing a frame that could be 0.016 seconds old. But if you double the refresh rate, even if the FPS is the same, if you double the refresh rate, the frame that you grab can be, this is wrong. What did I just say that's wrong? Or you're getting permabanned? It's 0.16? Or, yeah, I'm sorry. I might have said 0.016. It's 0.16. I'll explain. Okay, go for it. Because this was supposed to be one of the big advantages of getting a higher refresh rate monitor. If you're running 120 hertz on a 60 hertz monitor versus, 120 FPS on a 60 hertz refresh rate monitor versus 120 FPS on a 120 hertz monitor. No, hold on. Fuck, Jesus Christ, my brain is getting fucked. If you are running 60 FPS on a 60 hertz monitor or 60 FPS on a 120 hertz monitor, it seems like it's not going to make a difference. Like there shouldn't be a difference in what you're seeing. But I believe on a competitive level, that's not true. On the 120 hertz monitor, because the refresh rate is faster, you have a higher chance of grabbing a more recent frame than you would on the 60 hertz monitor. Okay, that statement I'm almost positive is true. Every other frame is perfect. If you see the original photo, the other camera is offset at a slightly different angle. Is every other frame perfect? What do you mean? I don't know if he's measuring every other frame like that. I haven't seen evidence of that. They're from different angles. He's just showing...
The two cameras were controlled.
Is this frame perfect? You don't know that. You don't know if this is like... And the thing is, you can't tell if this is frame perfect because the smoke isn't coming out of the screen at 500 miles per hour. Oh, fuck. You guys aren't understanding. Oh, shit. I don't know how to explain this. I need to, You can't tell the level of detail needed here. They're also at different angles. No, it's not. Okay, hold on. I'm going to try to draw this really well to see if I have an understanding of this. Okay. Let me explain this, okay? Let's say that you have okay, forget all the 9/11 shit, okay? Forget all the 9/11 shit, and let's just talk about monitors and everything really quick, okay? The smoke could be really fast, Destiny, you don't know. Okay, hold on. You're not arguing in good faith, but that's okay. But I'm still going to explain this concept, okay? Okay. Let's say that I've got a GPU over here, all right? My GPU over here is outputting, we'll say 120 frames per second. Okay. Now, when a GPU is outputting frames per second, it's not always the case that it's every single, like it's perfectly even. Some might be a little faster, some might be a little slower. I believe this is what frame latency refers to on a GPU. Latency is the amount of time between the instant a frame is captured and the instant a frame is displayed. Oh no, not necessarily. So that's going to be the instant capture display. There's a name for the jitter or something between frames that are displayed on a GPU, but I don't remember. It might be, is it frame time? Okay, frame time is defined as the time to pass between one frame being rendered on the next, and the next. Okay, so frame time might be inconsistent. It's not necessarily screen tearing, although it can be screen tearing. Or I think stuff like this could cause screen tearing, but that's a different thing we're talking about, okay? Okay. If you have a GPU that's putting out 120 FPS, okay, we can have two different monitors. So let's say this is our time axis, all right? I suck at drawing. If there's somebody that knows GPUs better or something, you can feel free to email me or call me out if I'm wrong. But this is supposed to be one of the reasons why getting a higher refresh rate monitor is better, even if you're not necessarily doing more or less FPS. Oh my god, yeah, wait, hold on. Okay. Boom, boom. Sorry. Okay. Let's say we're getting 60 FPS from our GPU, okay? So if I have, let's say we've got, this is our, the top is going to be our, 60 hertz monitor. The bottom is going to be our 120 hertz monitor, okay? Okay, so here's one thing that could happen. Let's say that we're getting our frame rate relatively consistently from the GPU, okay? Let's say that our frames are coming like this, okay? So we're getting 60 FPS coming out from our GPU. Okay. On our top monitor here, 60 divided by, it's 1 divided by 60. Hold on. On our top monitor here, we can have, at most, between refreshes of our monitor, we can have 0.016, well, no, it'd be 0.017 seconds, okay, of space between here. However, down here on our 120 hertz refresh rate monitor, because it's twice the refresh rate, our maximum time between frames is going to be like 0.009 milliseconds. I believe it's what these are going to be. No, it'll be 0.009 seconds, right? So on the same GPU that's drawing you frames, where the GPU is giving you frames every it'd be about every 17 milliseconds, I guess, right? Even though the GPU is giving you the same 60 FPS, your monitor down here, right? Look at what's happening. When your monitor's drawing a frame here, when your monitor's refreshing the frame, it's grabbing this frame here from up to, it could be 17 milliseconds old at worst, right? It could be grabbing a frame because your GPU hasn't drawn the next frame yet. It could be grabbing a frame here that is that's an older frame, up to 17 milliseconds. But down here on your 120 hertz refresh rate monitor, the oldest frame that it's going to grab is one that is 9 milliseconds old. Back over here. Does that make sense? So even though you have a 60 FPS graphics card spitting out 60 frames per second, a faster refresh rate monitor is always going to be giving you, or theoretically giving you, newer frames. It's possible. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, so we understand that. When we go back to, hold on. Okay, when we go back to these cameras,
by a centralized recording system called From the moment the police car moves on, the action proceeds in an identical manner both in the frames preceding the explosion and in those following the explosion.
The problem we have here is we don't know the millisecond difference that these frames are being captured. Now, these pictures look like they are congruent.
Both in the frames preceding the explosion,
but look at how much time we have between a frame.
And in those following.
Look at the difference. Like, even though it looks pretty close, this might be 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 milliseconds of difference, but we're not going to see that in the fire or the smoke. But in a plane, at this high of a transverse speed, coming across at 400 to 500 miles per hour, being off by a few milliseconds, or 10 or 20 or 50 milliseconds, might be the difference between seeing the whole plane or none of it. Oh, Jesus. That was a big explanation. Does that make sense for what I'm saying?
Especially in the second part of the videos, after the explosion, we can verify how each couple of frames depicts exactly the same action by looking at the shape of the billowing smoke.
So he's saying exactly the same action, but you don't know if this is exactly the same. You don't know if these are capturing the same millisecond tick. This could be 50 or 100 milliseconds ahead. Would you really notice? Can you really tell? Not really.
This confirms that the two cameras were operating in perfect synchronization.
Perfect synchronization. That perfect synchronization, when we're talking about cameras, And we're talking about capturing, what are these capturing? 1 frame per second? That perfect synchronization, there's a high bar for that I don't think the documentarian understands. Unless I might have wasted all my time. Maybe he'll go forward and say, oh no, well, this is why they were actually perfectly synced up to the shutter speed and everything. But I don't think that they're probably, like, that doesn't make any sense, right?
This is only to be expected. After all, the two cameras were controlled by a centralized recording system called multiplexer, or TLR.
That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be like frame perfect, like flashes on everything. I don't think that's the case at all.
There is, however, one pair of frames from the two or draw the two by explosion.
It's hard to say because we could look at they might be different.
Verify how
they might be like different models of cameras.
Manner, both in the frames preceding the explosion and in those.
Because even this doesn't look perfectly the same. But maybe the lighting on this is what changes this. But these here look like they might be off by several or over 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 milliseconds. Maybe from the difference in the explosion here. Maybe. It's hard to say by just going on my eyes. It's hard to say, but they could be. This might be like a 20 to 30 millisecond difference in explosion. Now again, 20, 30, 40, 50 milliseconds doesn't really matter 99.999% of the time. But if you have a plane at this transverse coming across at 500 miles per hour on your screen, well, it's gonna make a huge difference.
Following the explosion. Especially in the second part of the videos, after the explosion, we can verify how each couple of frames depicts exactly the same action by looking at the shape of the billowing smoke.
There's no way these cameras are capturing at the exact time. Yeah, I don't think they would be, because why would you even have a call for that level of technology?
This confirms that the two cameras were operating in perfect synchronization. This is only to be expected. After all, the two cameras were controlled by a centralized recording system called multiplexer, or TLR. There is, however, one pair of frames from the two videos that shows a completely different action from one another. They happen to be the two frames in which the plane travels across the lawn. It's frame 23 in the relative count. As the first video showed the tail and the trail of smoke, we would expect the second camera placed in this concrete column to show the entire body of the plane in the same position. It does not. In the corresponding frame, camera 2 shows only the tip of the plane entering frame from the right-hand corner.
Okay. I hope that I've explained all of this up to this point. So the issue is that we could have anywhere from 500 to maybe up to 1,000 milliseconds of difference in frame time here, depending what we're capturing. It wouldn't necessarily be that crazy or inconsistent at all to think that within when that frame is being captured could be totally different, or not even totally, but just like 20, 30, 40, 50 milliseconds off. And if it was, again, coming 500 miles per hour in at this range those like 20 or 30 milliseconds might make all the difference, you know? Destiny, 500 miles per hour is 733 feet per second, and the plane is 155 feet long, so a frame gap of 0.21 seconds on the frames would miss the plane. Maybe we would, in order to calculate this, oh God, I don't remember. This is like EVE Online math, believe it or not. You would have to have distance from the camera, and then you would have to have the speed here coming this way, and then you would calculate, I think it would, actually, this wouldn't be calculus, this would be trigonometry, I think, because I think you would just calculate you'd do like a triangle from here to here, and then you'd calculate the hypotenuse or whatever to figure. So I think it's a trig problem. I don't remember, but yeah.
But how can?
But also, let's go back a second too. This would be what we're talking about here. Is a pretty sophisticated level of film doctoring, right? If we're film doctoring on this level, why did they let so many other retarded mistakes slip through? Like, if we're going to go so hard that we're going to be doctoring footage like this, like frame-perfect footage, first of all, one, why even release it if you're going to make it so obvious? Because, oh my God, the one frame that matters is fucked. But then two, how are you fucking up, like, having your pilots not taking the right type of training for a convincing story when you're going to go this far to doctor footage? It doesn't make any sense, you know? Ugh.
Nose of the plane be behind the tail at the same moment in time. The synchronization system allows for a maximum fluctuation between the two cameras, or margin of error, of 1/30th of a second. Given that the plane is traveling at 750 feet per second, the maximum possible fluctuation between the two cameras would translate into a difference of a mere 25 feet in the position of the plane. A 757 is 155 feet.
Wait, how did he measure that? Hold on.
Between same moment. But how can the nose of the plane be behind the tail at the same moment in time? The synchronization system allows for a maximum fluctuation between the two cameras, or margin of error, of 1/30th of a second. Given that the plane is traveling at 750 feet per second, the maximum possible fluctuation between the two cameras would translate into a difference of a mere 25 feet in the position of the plane.
Oh, so that's how he accounts for the synchronization of the cameras. I'd have to see how that, when it talks about that synchronization, I wonder how precise that synchronizing is. I'd be curious, we'd have to dig hardcore into the specs of the cameras to figure out what that synchronization is referring to. Is that just referring to like an external control, like moving the cameras or something? Or does it have to do with like synchronizing the frame data? Or it would be interesting to dig more into that. I don't know if anybody has a manual or whatever. But.
Is 155 feet long. Even calculating the perspective due to the diagonal path, this is far from sufficient to explain the large discrepancy between the two images. Furthermore, after this moment, the two videos resume their perfect synchronization, which is maintained all the way to the end.
I don't think that you can just eyeball perfect synchronization here. If we're off by like 50 to 100 milliseconds, you're not going to be able to tell if this smoke is billowed up like a little bit more than this smoke. There's just no way you're going to be able to tell. He doesn't define what fluctuation is. It's not a technical term. Yeah, I'd be curious what it's controlling for in that. Would that even be possible with a 1 frame per second camera? Maybe, I don't know. It depends on, I don't know what system they're using to synchronize the cameras. I'm not sure.
Why these two crucial frames, and only these two, are so different from one another has puzzled researchers and digital experts alike. The same digital expert who had prepared the universal image from the Pentagon has also conducted an in-depth technical analysis of the two videos released by the Department of Defense. After confirming that the two cameras were synchronized by the same multiplexer system, this expert has compiled a table comparing the contents of each pair of frames. As one can see, frame 23 is the only one showing a strong inconsistency between the two images. The expert has then proceeded to analyze the two frames with the most sophisticated digital tools and has obtained some astonishing results. A series of Boolean subtractions reveals that a small part of the image is actually present in both frames. What is said to be the nose of the airplane in camera 2 is also present as part of the smoke trail in camera 1. It seems in fact as if someone has retouched this area of the frame by means of cut and paste in order to cover the plane, while he is...
Where does he link this analysis? I'd be super curious to see who the analyzer is on this.
Kept the end of the smoke trail to make it look like the nose of the plane entering frame.
Why wouldn't you just add something new?
Question. Given that the maximum fluctuation between the two cameras would translate in a difference of 25 feet in the position of the plane, can you provide a valid explanation for the large discrepancy between the two corresponding... corresponding frames. Absent a valid explanation for this discrepancy, we must conclude that at least one of the two frames is the result of intentional manipulation or photoshopping. If we now summarize the situation at the Pentagon...
Someone donated said, why did they fake this footage if they had already replaced the plane with a military drone? Well, because the idea is that if the military drone is seen by footage, then you would obviously know, so they have to edit out the military drone, so you can't prove that it was a military drone.
We have the total lack of evidence that the unknown incoming was in fact Flight 77, a mysterious phantom plane that attracted the attention in the opposite direction. The failure from the White House to shoot down the incoming even though it posed a serious and imminent threat. A totally illogical approach maneuver from a terrorist's point of view. An alleged hijacker incapable of performing that maneuver. The absence of any significant part of the plane from the wreckage. A damage to the building clearly incompatible with a 757. A doctored tape of the impact, and the obvious reluctance by the FBI to release any other tape that could allow the identification of the plane. The whole issue of Flight 93 basically boils down to one question. If you just happened to drive by and someone told you that a Boeing 757 has just crashed into this hole and most of the 100-ton airliner is now buried under the ground, would you believe it or not? This is the kind of puzzlement the people from Shanksville experienced when they arrived on the crash site of Flight 93.
We drove back that road, and where the road ended, that's where the plane was. And I mean, you know, the only thing I could tell, you know, I get out, you know, like I said, I heard this thing, you know, I felt the explosion, saw the fireball, and I get up there and I'm thinking, where is it? You know, just debris.
What did this guy say about the absence of life, the people who died on the plane? So the idea is that the government had the plane land somewhere else, and then they made the passengers, once it had landed somewhere else, it made the passengers, they made the passengers record phone calls to their family when they were already safely landed, and then they, I guess, executed them all afterwards.
This is small pieces of debris, and you know, the trees were singed and burning, it was just smoldering.
Nothing. It was just little pieces. There was nothing to actually, like a door or window or anything. You couldn't really, it was just little pieces of shrapnel everywhere.
What's that right there? Over in here.
TV reporters were also at a loss when faced with the idea that an actual plane had just crashed on that site.
You know, at first I wasn't even sure that this was, that these were pieces of the plane. They're so small, and it's indistinguishable. You can't tell whether it's a piece of the fuselage or a piece of the seats. You don't know what it is.
Chris Kanicki, he's a photographer. He was back there just a couple of minutes ago, and Chris, I've seen the pictures. It looks like there's nothing there except for a hole in the ground.
Basically, that's right. From where we could see, there wasn't much.
Wait, what is the explanation for, did they just crash a military drone under the ground in Pennsylvania too? Is that what they also say that to make it more convincing, I guess? Destiny, why would there be no whistleblowers in the military over shooting a shit ton of civilians when the U.S. has shit tons of whistleblowers, among other things? Yeah, or why didn't Snowden or Manning release any documents for this? Yeah, who knows?
Much left.
Any large pieces
Goes
of
too
debris
deep.
at all?
No, there was nothing that you could distinguish that a plane had crashed there.
It's really all you see is a large crater in the ground and just tiny, tiny bits of debris.
Alert also went out to Somerset County Coroner Wallace Miller. He hurried to the scene, an abandoned strip mine. When he arrived, he couldn't believe his eyes.
It looked like someone had gouged about a 10-foot wide, 10-foot deep trough through the strip mine area. But when you looked in, it was just covered with dirt. There was nothing there that you could really say was an airplane.
Dennis Roddy was the editor-in-chief of the Pittsburgh Gazette.
Airplane debris? Nothing I could identify.
Possibly the most disconcerted of all was the mayor of Shanksville, Ernie Stuhl.
Ja, mein Schwager und ein guter Freund von mir waren die Ersten hier. Sie haben in Shanksville an einer Straßenecke gestanden und sich unterhalten. Ihr Wagen stand gleich in der Nähe und so waren sie die Ersten hier. Dann kam erst die Feuerwehr. Alle waren wie vor den Kopf gestoßen, weil sie zu einem Flugzeugabsturz gerufen wurden. Aber da war kein Flugzeug. Kein Flugzeug.
Sie wurden hier zu der Unfallstelle geschickt und da war kein Flugzeug?
Nein, da war nichts. Nur dieses Loch. Das ist es, was Sie sahen.
Ich dachte immer, das sei die Absturzstelle.
Das ist sie, aber da ist nichts zu sehen.
It's in that hole, says the FBI, that most of the airplane lays literally buried in the ground. Much of the plane and its contents were found beneath the soft dirt, states the FBI's website. Evidence technicians found the flight data recorder about 12 feet below the surface and the cockpit voice recorder about 25 feet deep. Since the two black boxes are located in the tail of the plane, one must conclude that also the cockpit, most of the fuselage, the passengers' seats and bodies, and their belongings somehow managed to get buried deep underground. The only ones who don't seem to have a problem with this explanation are the debunkers.
We have this idea that when planes crash, they crack in half, and there's this dramatic burn wreckage. That's what happens when planes crash at very low speeds, usually on approach or takeoff from an airport. This plane was flying straight down. It was approaching the speed of sound. It would have if it had gone much farther. And it penetrated into soft ground with incredible velocity.
Ma qui la caduta è stata diversa. L'aereo era quasi verticale quando si è schiantato a una velocità altissima. L'aereo si schiaccia quasi nel terreno, produce un cratere piccolo e questo è quello che rimane, va a finire quasi tutto nel terreno.
First of all, it isn't true that the plane hit the ground almost vertically. According to the NTSB flight path, the 757 hit the ground at an angle of about 45 degrees. This fact alone removes much of the exceptionality the debunkers would like to attach to this crash. But even if it were true that the
Well, hold on. I don't believe that, or if the debunkers said this, they were either misspeaking or incorrect. I don't think the exceptional thing would have been the angle at which it hit. It would have been the velocity. Because I think generally, if a plane is crashing, you're trying to take steps to reduce your speed so that you don't crash. But like if you're obviously trying to just dive it into the fucking ground at maximum speed, which I think is what the terrorists were, I think that was part of the training to do that, was if you weren't going to make it to the target, just crash the plane. You're going to be going at a really, really high speed when you hit. Whether you're at a 45 degree angle or a 90 or 180 degree angle, I don't know what you'd say. That's still probably going to be different. I would imagine from an average airplane crash where the pilots are taking some sort of preventative controls to slow the speed or change your velocity. That'd be my guess.
Plane fell almost vertically. How could the hole have closed itself up even before the first responders arrived? This is not mud. This is your typical hard country soil. When a plane crashes and makes a hole in the ground, the hole remains open and quite visible from above. This, for example, is the crater caused by Flight Pan Am 103 when it crashed in Lockerbie, Scotland in 1988. It's true that the 747, the plane that crashed in Lockerbie, is larger than a 757, but it's also true that the Pan Am flight broke up in mid-air due to an explosion and that only part of the plane caused the crater seen in the photographs. Let's compare the size of the Lockerbie crater, several blocks wide, with the one in Shanksville, several feet wide. This is the size of a human being next to the Lockerbie crater. This is the size of a human being next to the Shanksville crater. These are people looking down into the Lockerbie crater. These are people standing by the Shanksville crater after the accident. Compare the size of a car with the Lockerbie crater and the size of a small truck with the crater in Shanksville.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this
This is the largest chunk of the Pan Am flight that was found near Lockerbie. It's almost half the front part of the fuselage and includes part of the cockpit. This is the largest piece of debris we have ever seen from Shanksville. It's a piece of fuselage a bit wider than two.
It's like, it sounds like so. It's like such a fundamental, especially if you got a plane breaking up in air. It sounds like so much. There's so much different thing. There's so much of a difference between the two crashes. But I don't know. This is like an engineering question. I'm not sure. Look at the pictures of the German Wings Flight 9525 crash, the Alps suicide. That plane hit at 430 miles per hour. Is there a picture I'm supposed to be looking for here, or? Did this just go into like the side of a mountain too? It seems to be a bit different as well.
Passenger windows in a picture released 5 years after the event. This is an engine from Pan Am Flight 103 which plunged to the ground at a location near Lockerbie. This, we are told, is an engine from Flight 93 which was supposedly excavated from the hole in Shanksville. These are images from different crashes showing that the tail of the plane almost always survives. It does so because it's normally the last part of the plane impacting the terrain, when most of the kinetic energy has already been dissipated to the ground. This is the mark on the ground that was supposedly left by the tail of Flight 93 before it vanished into thin air. These are the chunks of the wings that are normally found after a plane crash. These are the marks that the wings of the plane allegedly left on the ground in Shanksville before vanishing with everything else into thin air. And this is the center of the hole, which is supposed to have swallowed practically the whole fuselage. But this is where the official story of the crash becomes truly fascinating. According to the
Again, on all of these, I think you'd have to compare the circumstances by which these are crashing, because I think that's going to dramatically change the type of impact that you're going to make on the ground, would be my guess, right? Like, somebody intentionally crashing a plane into the ground is probably going to end up leaving a much different signature than planes that are trying to recover but end up, for whatever reason, losing control and crashing, or having an accident midair as well and breaking up midair too.
FBI, after 2 weeks of excavation in Shanksville, 95% of the plane had been recovered. A Boeing 757 weighs roughly 100 tons. A mid-sized car weighs about 2,500 pounds, a ton and a half. This means that, according to the FBI, the equivalent of at least 50 to 60 cars was actually excavated from the ground. Question: can you explain how most of an airplane weighing 100 tons could end up buried deep underground in a hole that closed itself up before the first responders arrived? Buried deep underground in a hole that closed itself up before the first responders arrived? But even if it were true that 95% of the plane has been recovered, where is it? Why have we never been shown it? When a controversial accident happens, all efforts are made to recover as many pieces of the plane as possible. These, for example, are the remains of the flight from Lockerbie, which have been pieced together in a hangar. These are the remains of TWA 800, the flight that crashed in the ocean near Long Island in July 1996. These are the remains of flight Itavia 870, which crashed in unclear circumstances near Ustica, Italy in 1980. Why wasn't the same thing done with United 93? Given the controversy on the absence of debris, coupled with the rumors of a possible shoot-down, it would have been the perfect way to put all the conspiracy theories to rest. Instead, we are told all the recovered parts of the plane have been sequestered by the FBI, and no one has ever been able to see them. As far as we know, Flight 93 might have never crashed in Shanksville to begin with. There is another problem for those who support the official version. When an airplane...
The report with the Boolean subtraction was done by what looks like an amateur and a devout truther. Well, whether they're a truther or not shouldn't matter. We should judge them on the veracity of the report, right? Because obviously anybody that does an analysis and then comes across and says that, like, oh, well, the frame data looked like it was fucked or whatever, I mean, they would probably become a truther, right?
crashes to the ground. Normally, a plume of thick black smoke rises to the sky. Plane crash. There is another problem for those who support the official version. When an airplane crashes to the ground, normally a plume of thick black smoke rises to the sky and continues to burn until all the fuel is consumed. But instead of being faced by something like that, this is what the people in Shanksville saw.
This is what we saw. Das ist das, was wir gesehen haben. Sieht fast aus wie ein Pilz.
It looked like a mushroom cloud, he said, but under the cloud there is no plume of black smoke rising to the sky.
Well, how much that plane that we just saw crash that he's using here,
plume of to support the official version.
This 747 that had crashed had literally just taken off. This is a 747, I believe, from a military base that didn't have the equipment strapped down properly. So after it took off, they lost control because shit slid around and then the plane crashed. I don't know how much more fuel this would have compared to being at the end of its journey, but that might make a difference in how much fuel burns or how much of an explosion is, right? So I imagine this plane is like full on fuel as soon as it takes off, it's crashing, as
when
opposed to the
an airplane crashes to the ground, normally a plume of thick black smoke rises to the sky, and
as opposed to a plane that's been flying for some time. But I don't know how much fuel is normally on like commercial airliners.
Continues to burn until all the fuel is consumed. But instead of being faced by something like that, this is what the people in Shanksville saw.
This is what we saw.
Das ist das, was wir gesehen haben. Sieht fast aus wie ein Pilz.
It looked like a mushroom cloud, he said, but under the cloud there is no plume of black smoke rising to the sky, and the mushroom shape is the classic result of a bomb explosion. The same local reporter also noticed the absence of smell from burnt jet fuel and the odor of scorched earth instead.
Does he know what burnt jet fuel smells like? I don't know what burnt jet fuel smells like. I have no idea.
Very strong odor of the scorched earth. The only way I can describe it. It doesn't smell like jet fuel. It smells like... Kendall, how do you describe it? Just burned earth. Burned earth. It smells like burned earth.
The grass next to the hole also indicates there was no fire after the explosion, as it appears perfectly dry and untouched all around. Some have suggested that this is only the initial explosion, and that the plume of black smoke hasn't started to rise yet. But this hypothesis is disproven by this video, taken by a local amateur shortly after the explosion took place.
Crash over on Lambertsville Road.
As one can see, the initial cloud floats in the air, but the typical plume of black smoke rising from below is not there.
Don't know anything
If we fast forward the video, we can see that the situation doesn't change much. After more than 1 minute, the initial cloud is still there, but there is no black smoke whatsoever rising from below. Question: since the plane was carrying 8,000 to 10,000 gallons of fuel at the time of impact.
What was this type of plane again that crashed? The one in Pennsylvania? This was a 747, was it? I should just scroll up and look. What am I asking you guys? Okay, 757 222. $757 222. How many gallons of fuel? So the 757-200 has a maximum. Is that what this was? Oh wait, not. Do you think the 222 model is different? This says that it holds a maximum fuel capacity of 11,000 gallons. How long had this plane been flying? Before it crashed. Flight. Also, here's a question. I don't know if there are airplane or pilot people in here. Do you fuel a plane to the max before every single takeoff, or do you adjust your fuel based on how they don't fly full? Yeah, I'm curious. Let's see. Where was this flying to? Fuck no, that's terrible for efficiency. Okay. I know they'll put more because I know sometimes they have to be able to fly holding patterns and they've got to be able to chill for a bit. So I know they'll put a little more at least, but... 5:01 in the morning. Jared placed a call from Newark to hijacker. Oh, this was flying daily scheduled morning flight from New Jersey to San Francisco. So a fairly long flight. I don't know how much fuel it would need for that flight though. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't even know who I would even ask for the answer to that, unless I could call United and find out. Third paragraph down says it. Wait, here? National Park Service has 7,000 gallons of fuel when it crashed. Upon impact, the 7,000 gallons of fuel exploded, creating a ball of fire that rose higher than trees. Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha.
Can you explain why there is no plume of black smoke rising from the ground after the initial explosion? But the toughest problem for the supporters of the official version is to explain how different parts of debris could end up several miles away from the crash site, even though the plane is supposed to have hit the ground in one piece. William Bunch was a reporter for the Pittsburgh Gazette.
I gathered all the information I could and quickly learned that there were a lot of things about the crash of Flight 93 that didn't really add up right away. The fact that debris fell on this lake a couple miles away at the same time that the plane was crashing.
The lake Bunch is talking about is Indian Lake, which is located a couple of miles southeast of the crash site. According to the debunkers, there is a valid explanation for the debris found in the lake.
Perché quello che le dice di pezzi trovati chissà dove sono arrivati a Indian Lake, che è a 1600 metri di distanza. Sono stati trovati pezzettini di carta che sono volati perché c'è vento.
First of all, it's not true that there was wind on that day. As the images show, there was only a light breeze gently moving the air all around.
What was the
very
debris that
clouds
was
from
found?
the explosion, as we have seen before, practically didn't move for over 1 minute. Secondly, it wasn't just small pieces of paper that were found. From the Pittsburgh Tribune we read, by Wednesday morning, crash debris began washing ashore at the marina. Witness John Flegel said there was something that looked like a rib bone amid pieces of seats, small chunks of melted plastic, and checks. In any case, the problem is not limited to Indian Lake, which is 2 miles away from the crash site. Debris from the plane was found as far as 8 miles away near New Baltimore. This is the map of the debris field published by the Pittsburgh Tribune. CNN also reported the secondary field, confirming that the debris belonged to Flight 93.
Well, Darren, in the last hour or so, the FBI and the state police here have confirmed that they have cordoned off a second area about 6 to 8 miles away from the crater here where this plane went down. This is apparently another debris site, which raises a number of questions. Why would debris from the plane, and they identified it specifically as being from this plane, why would debris be located 6 miles away? Could it have blown that far away? Seems highly unlikely. And as to whether it broke up on the way, we don't know that. FBI is being very tight-lipped about that. But again, it leads to that possibility. It certainly leads to a number of questions.
Since the plane is supposed to have hit the ground in one piece, can you explain how it was possible for debris to be found 6 to 8 miles from the crash site on a day when only a light breeze was blowing? The extension of the debris field is not the only fact suggesting a shoot-down. There are other elements that seem to confirm
Wait,
it.
this plane was shot down?
TV and the lights flickered in the building. About that time we heard the engines roar, and we took off out of the building. As we were coming out from the office out through the building, the
okay, so this
ground
wasn't a
shook and we
military
heard,
drone.
Big boom. Looked over and saw the big ball of fire.
Flegel later told other people about the lights flickering.
I was in Atlanta, and I was sitting there talking to another guy, and I was explaining to him about whenever we were standing in the office and the lights flickered and everything. And as soon as he heard me say that, he immediately stopped me and he said, well, I'm retired from the Air Force. He said, that plane was shot down. And I said, why? And he said, because whenever the lights flickered, they zapped the radar frequency on everything before they shoot.
The mayor of Indian Lake...
Wait, what? Why would zapping... First of all, I don't know what zapping a radar frequency means, but why would doing anything with a radar frequency cause an outage or a flicker in power?
Also remembers the power going off just before the crash.
Our power had gone off, and then we felt a tremor. It sounded like a missile came across our house. I mean, they were going that fast.
The mayor of Shanksville had something interesting to say. I know of 2 people, I will not mention names, that heard a missile, Stuhl said. They both live very close, within a couple of 100 yards. This one fellow served in Vietnam, and he says he's heard them, and he heard one that day. But who could have possibly shot the plane down? As far as we know, there are no witnesses who saw fighter jets near Flight 93 at the time of the crash. There are, however, some witnesses who saw a small, unmarked white plane which flew over the area just before the crash.
I was just driving along here. It was a beautiful day. Had my window open.
When you're in these places, like out in these rural communities, if you're just flying like a single engine plane, do you have to check in with any air traffic control towers, or are you like clear to just do whatever under a certain altitude?
Stereo on.
Yes.
And when I got up here almost to the stop sign, this small white plane, at the time, that's what I thought it was, went over top of me. It was so smooth, and it just glided right over me, just like that. And then I ducked, and when I looked up again, then it just banked to the right and went over and went down behind those trees.
Something caught my eye, and here was a white plane, and it was coming from the crash site area.
The debunkers maintain that there is no mystery behind the white plane. It was a corporate jet, they say, which air traffic controllers had asked to take a look on the ground after they realized they had lost Flight 93.
There was, in fact, a little white jet that was seen in the area after Flight 93 crashed. A number of witnesses saw it. It was a little Dassault Falcon corporate jet that was flying to a nearby airport. And what happened is once air traffic control knew they had lost Flight 93, they asked the nearest aircraft to go over the area and actually radio back exact coordinates for the crash site.
No.
Susan McElwain, however, remembers seeing the white plane before the crash, not after.
About 11:30 that night, the FBI came, wanted to talk to me. They kept asking me how big the plane was. I said the plane, you know, it was small, wasn't much bigger than my van that I saw, and that it went over top of me.
Would you really know that? Are you that precise? Jeez, okay, maybe.
And I said, you want to make sure maybe it was ours and not somebody else's. And then that's when he did seem to get a little nicer. Told me that it was a white Learjet. Someone was taking pictures. I said, before the crash? And he says, well, we got to go.
John Flegel also saw the mysterious plane. Since Flegel arrived on the spot within a minute from the crash, the corporate jet sent by the air traffic controllers would not have had time to descend over the area yet, while the mystery plane was already getting away from the spot into the blue sky.
We got there, like I said, probably within 45 seconds or a minute of impact. We were there. We were there before any firemen, any paramedics, or anybody. We were on site. When we got there, there was a plane flying up above, and he was smart. He flew straight for the sun, so you couldn't look at it and see exactly what type of plane or.
Well, wouldn't that depend on who's looking at you though, in terms of flying straight for the sun? I mean,
if it was a fighter or what it was, but you know, we caught a glimpse of it, and as he was swinging, he was basically traveling in the same direction as the plane.
If the plane was actually shot down, one big question arises. What are we to make of the heroic gesture by the passengers who chose to force the plane to the ground, we are told, in order to save the lives of other fellow countrymen? In truth, this heroic gesture by the passengers has been refuted by the 9/11 Commission itself. It was the hijackers, wrote the commission, and not the passengers, who chose to intentionally crash the plane in Shanksville. The passengers never even made it into the cockpit. From the final report we read, at 9:57, the passenger assault began. But for more than 5 minutes, writes the commission, the passengers were unable to break into the cockpit. After a while, as the outside attack continued, Jarrah asked, "Is that it? Shall we finish it off?" A hijacker responded, "No, not yet. When they all come, we finish it off." It should be noted that this dialogue was allegedly extracted from the cockpit voice recorder of Flight 93, but the actual recording, as we have said before, was never played in public. At 10:02, a hijacker said, "Pull it down, pull it down." The hijackers remained at the controls, but must have judged that the passengers were only seconds from overcoming them. The airplane headed down, the control wheel was turned hard to the right, the airplane rolled onto its back, and one of the hijackers began shouting, "Allah is the greatest, Allah is the greatest." With the sound of the passenger counterattack continuing, the aircraft plowed into an empty field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania at 580 miles per hour, about 20 minutes flight time from Washington, D.C. Jarrah's objective, concludes the commission, was to crash the airliner into symbols of the American Republic, the Capitol, or the White House. Question: Given that they were only 20 minutes away from Washington, and for almost 6 minutes the passengers had been unable to enter the cockpit, why didn't the hijackers continue flying?
Capitol? Isn't it Capitol? With an O?
Almost 6 minutes the passengers had been unable to enter.
Drop a 900 real quick. I don't know why you're asking me to do this. I drop 900s like nothing. Fuck! Dude, this 880 score is some bullshit. It pegs you here and it doesn't let you escape.
The cockpit. Why didn't the hijackers continue flying towards the Capitol? And even if they thought they couldn't make it to Washington, why didn't they try to crash the plane onto a small town nearby? Why crash the plane in an empty field where they knew they could not kill any more victims than those that were already on the plane with them? Maybe a less fictional explanation for Flight 93 is the one offered by Vernon Gross, author and former NTSB investigator.
The role the government plays in times of stress, how they view the public. Can the public stand the truth? Or shouldn't we need a legend at this point. We need a really neat story of reacting against such a dastardly act as was happening. So it's really nice and convenient to think of the Beamer story, let's roll. And that becomes just like the Alamo. And it's just one of those legends, and I think there'll be a lot of pressure to let the legend stay where it is.
What? But wouldn't we be? What would we scramble inside U.S. airspace to shoot it down though? Would it be an F-16 or an F-14? Like that'd be pretty noticeable to most people. Not some strange small white plane, no? Or is the conspiracy? Or I'm sorry, I shouldn't say conspiracy. Are they alleging that that white plane was some sort of like secret military plane that like drove by and shot the other plane out of the sky?
If we now summarize Flight 93, we have no proof whatsoever that the terrorists boarded the plane, nor that they were ever in the cockpit. An alleged hijacker who could not have flown an airliner in the way that Flight 93 was flown. A false, concurrent hijacking that called the attention away from the real one. No proof whatsoever that Flight 93 crashed in the field near Shanksville. An extended debris field which flatly disproves the official version of the crash and suggests that the plane broke up in mid-air instead. An unexplained small white jet leaving the area right after the impact. And the fact that the passengers who called from their cell phones could not have been on that plane to begin with, which strongly suggests their revolt was a scripted, fictional event intended to fuel a prefabricated legend.
Based. The Twin Towers. Part 6. F-14s are only carrier-based, gotcha. Dude, I need more oil. I'm fucking oil fucked in this game. Holy shit. Oh, there's a fuck ton down there, huh?
What? I'm on the 83rd floor. What's the telephone number you're calling? AMC. You can do anything 441 2623. Are they going to be able to get somebody up here? Well, of course, man. We're coming up to you. Two of us in this office. We're not ready to die, but it's getting bad. There's no one here yet, and the floor is completely engulfed. We're on the floor, and we can't breathe. Please, hurry. No fire for now, and no smoke, right? Of course there's smoke. Where are you? What's where you guys up to? We're getting there. Doesn't feel like it, man. I got one too. It's very hot. I see any air anymore. Okay. All I see is smoke.
Smoke rises we're on the floor, we're in a window. Can't see.
Can you stay on the line with me, please? Yes, ma'am, I'm gonna die, aren't I? No. Say I'm gonna die. Ma'am, say your prayers.
Thank God the blood was in from the left.
Help! Help! Ma'am? Help!
What the hell happened?
Oh my God!
Oh God!
For most Americans, the destruction of the Twin Towers will remain embedded in their memories and their hearts as the epitome of horror, astonishment, and unjustified human suffering.
But what if it was the Mossad?
But for some, it may have represented the moment where large corporate interests of global reach and cynical economic greed found the perfect place for a secret encounter. Common wisdom has it that the September 11 attacks destroyed two of the best jewels America has ever had. But exactly jewels, the Twin Towers, were not. While they sat on some of the most valuable real estate in the world, after 30 years the Twin Towers had become obsolete, with each of the floors built as an open
Jesus Christ. I understand where we're going with this.
Space of almost 1 acre in size. The rising cost of energy had made it extremely expensive to keep the buildings warm in winter and cool in summer. General maintenance was also very expensive compared to buildings from more recent years. In his 1999 book on the Twin Towers, Divided We Stand, author Eric Darton wrote, "When the World Trade Center was bombed in February 1993, it was already passing its prime as office space, overtaken..."
Where are we going, Destiny? Well, now it sounds like there's going to be a conspiracy that, like, it was a really good opportunity for a business dude to get these basically demolished with a couple of commercial airliners in order to rebuild them to be more efficient. That's where it sounds like we're headed.
By a generation of more recent, cybernetically smart buildings with higher ceilings and greater built-in electrical capacity. To maintain the Trade Center as Class A office space commanding top rents, the Port Authority would have had to spend $800 million rebuilding its electrical, electronic communications, and cooling systems. Furthermore, after the 1993 bombing, the tenancy had dropped dramatically, and it had been very hard to bring it back to normal levels. But the biggest problem with the Twin Towers was the large amount of asbestos they contained. Built in a time when the use of asbestos was still allowed in civil construction, at least 400 tons of this extremely dangerous material had been used to fireproof the steel structure of the buildings and to insulate hundreds of miles of pipings for water, heating, and air conditioning. Asbestos was also present in the ceiling panels, the elevator shafts, and the vinyl tiles from office floors. From a property condition assessment of the Twin Towers dated December 2000, we read, "According to Port Authority records, a total of 7 million square feet of vinyl asbestos floor tiles were installed in the World Trade Center. By the time asbestos was banned from civil construction, the Twin Towers were nearing their completion. Initially, the asbestos was encapsulated wherever possible to prevent the particles from being inhaled. But in the 1990s, the regulations grew tighter, and every time a simple renovation was needed, the complete removal and replacement of the asbestos was also required. At the same time, because of the health risk it posed, the cost of asbestos removal and abatement had been skyrocketing."
This is such a niche question. I don't expect anybody to know this, but does anybody know if that's true? I know that for residential houses, I don't think they normally recommend the removal of asbestos. I think they normally just recommend the sealing of it. But maybe for commercial properties, it's different because they're expected to have more money and because repairs and everything would be more likely to disturb it. Maybe? I don't know.
Safety procedures required the areas to be treated to be vacated in advance, hermetically sealed, and kept under negative pressure at all times to prevent particles from escaping outside. Only specialized workers could access the area, wearing airtight suits and respirators. A full decontamination process was required every time they left the area. In the mid-90s, the Port Authority put out different bids for the removal and replacement of the asbestos in a case-by-case scenario. For example, this is a 1995 contract for the installation of 2 low-voltage substations in Towers 1 and 2. One section in the contract listed the replacement of asbestos at floors 41, 42, 75, and 76 in Tower 1 and floors 75 and 76 in Tower 2. Total cost for the asbestos removal and replacement, $868,000. Tower 2, 40th floor. Contract for asbestos removal and abatement. Total cost, $650,000. Towers 1 and 2, removal of asbestos and new ceilings at floors 7, 41, and 75. Total cost, $882,000. It soon became clear that the Twin Towers were quickly turning from a prestigious asset into a serious liability. From the December 2000 condition assessment, we read, from 1986 to 1999, a total 31 contracts were bid, and a total of $58.2 million was spent in abatement projects. By then, 3.5 million square feet of vinyl asbestos floor tile was removed. Only half of the initial 7 million square feet installed. At the estimated cost of $5 to $6 per square foot, that accounted for an additional $20 million in cost for the Port Authority, and that was for the floor tiles only. There were also hundreds of thousands of square feet of spray-on fireproofing to be removed throughout both buildings. And then there were the elevators. This is the list of elevator shafts with asbestos-containing material as of December 2000. This is Tower 1, and this is Tower 2. Reportedly, by the year 2000, the Port Authority was looking at an asbestos abatement bill of as much as $1 billion, the same money it would have cost to build a brand new tower. Back in the 90s,
the same money it would have cost to build a brand new tower? Does that include like the demolition and cleaning and everything thereof? Is that really true? That those towers could have been rebuilt? Like torn down, all the stuff hauled off, and then rebuilt for $1 billion?
Authority had sued the insurance companies, trying to get them to cover the cost of the asbestos removal. But in May 2001, 4 months before the terrorist attack, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey lost their 10-year-old court battle. At that point, the Port Authority was between a rock and a hard place. The Twin Towers could no longer be maintained without incurring the cost of asbestos removal, yet they could not be demolished because of the large amounts of asbestos they contained. The only remaining option was to dismantle and remove the two poison-filled giants one piece at a time. But the cost of such an operation would have been so astronomical that no one has ever tried to put a number on it.
Oh boy.
Luckily for all, the stalemate was broken when a real estate tycoon named Larry Silverstein, who already owned Building 7, offered to purchase a 99-year lease for the Twin Towers.
76 years old, and look at him go. He walks fast, talks fast, and is always selling.
Silverstein seemed in a big hurry to close the deal. Even though he had been hospitalized for a car accident during the bidding operations, he asked his doctors to take him off the morphine so the deal could be finalized.
So I told the doctor, I said, kill the morphine, and I got to get my people in here, because you can't think with morphine. So they let the morphine run down. The pain was terrible, but I brought everybody together, and that's when we framed our best and final bid.
On July 24th, 2001, Larry Silverstein celebrated the acquisition of the Twin Towers with a public ceremony.
Silverstein signed the lease on the World Trade Center just 6 weeks before 9/11.
He then took out an insurance policy covering the Twin Towers for $3.2 billion in case of total destruction. Silverstein then began spending every morning of the week in his new office in the North Tower.
And so my mornings were spent at the Trade Center, and then by noon I was back uptown.
But on September 11, luckily for him, Silverstein didn't go to work. Even though he had already scheduled a business meeting in the North Tower, he found out that his wife had made an appointment for him at the dermatologist.
The morning of September 11th, Silverstein was scheduled to have breakfast at the restaurant at the top of the North Tower. He canceled at the last minute at the insistence of his wife, Clara, who wanted him to go see his dermatologist.
Wow.
That particular morning,
even his wife was in on it.
My wife, God bless her, had made an appointment for me at the doctor. And I said, okay, yes, dear, I'll go.
Everyone who was in that restaurant that morning perished.
And then, just minutes later, received a telephone call to turn on a television set and witnessed this horrendous circumstance.
This is how, on the evening of September 11, Larry Silverstein found himself in control.
It feels like this is like the biggest conspiracy with the most number of random fucks that happen to know what was going on. But somehow we still didn't get a good leak to verify everything. How is this possible? How did so many random fucking people know that the towers were coming down?
Of some 12 million square feet of new office space to be built on some of the most valuable real estate in the world. And since the terrorist attacks had been two separate events, contended Silverstein, the insurance companies would have to pay him $7 billion to rebuild what he has always been calling My Three Towers.
I will spend $7 billion on My Three Towers.
Eventually, a settlement was reached for $4.5 billion, which was still 1/3 more than the amount initially insured by Silverstein. And since on September 11, due to the terrorist attacks, Building 7 had also been destroyed, Silverstein received another $800 million to rebuild a skyscraper that had originally cost $400 million.
It's a much more beautiful building. It's
How
a glass
convenient.
facade.
Wow.
Allows the light to come into the space. The views on four sides are phenomenal, and the space looks magnificent.
In the meantime, all the asbestos from the Twin Towers has been inhaled by the citizens of downtown Manhattan, and especially by the first responders and volunteers who worked at Ground Zero, who are now being decimated by mesothelioma and other pulmonary diseases. In the debate over the destruction of the World Trade Center, two important organizations have played a major role. One is NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, which was officially tasked by the US government to investigate the collapse of the three skyscrapers. In 2005, NIST presented their final report on the collapse of the Twin Towers, and in 2008, the one on Building 7. For the Twin Towers, NIST concluded that they were brought down by the consequences of the impacts and the ensuing fires, while Building 7, according to NIST, was brought down primarily by fire alone. In other words, they fully confirmed the official version by the US government. The other organization to bear weight on the debate has been Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth, an association of professionals in civil construction founded in 2006 by San Francisco architect Richard Gage. Architects and Engineers lists over 2,000 experts in structural engineering, science of materials, architectural design, fire protection, science of construction, metallurgy, and even experts in controlled demolitions. Since they've entered the fray, Architects and Engineers has brought to the table a solid amount of scientific information refuting the official explanation by NIST on the collapses and confirming the theory of controlled demolitions instead. At the same time, Architects and Engineers has acted as an unrelenting watchdog for every action taken by NIST, pointing out every single error in their work and even forcing them, in some cases, to make corrections to their reports.
I think it's something that we need to clarify and correct in the final version of the report.
Okay.
The first issue that needs to be clarified is the actual strength and solidity of the Twin Towers, since both the 9/11 Commission and the debunkers have made extensive efforts to depict them as extremely light and fragile buildings.
The outside of each tower was covered by a frame of 14-inch wide steel columns. The centers of the steel columns were 40 inches apart. These exterior walls bore the majority of the weight of the building. The interior core of the buildings was a hollow steel shaft in which elevators and stairwells were grouped.
Le torri di New York invece erano sostenute da un'intelaiatura esterna, da sottili nervature d'acciaio, insomma erano come dei parallelepipedi vuoti.
Il World Trade Center era una struttura leggerissima, era la massima espressione del grattacielo leggero, come lo chiamano i tecnici. C'è un solo altro edificio che io sappia, che è quella che si chiamava un tempo la Sears Tower a Chicago, che usa lo stesso tipo di struttura. Dopo il World Trade Center nessuno l'ha più usata.
As we shall see, all these statements are false. Contrary to traditional skyscrapers, where all the support columns are equally spaced, in the Twin Towers, part of the supporting columns had been moved towards the exterior wall, creating a large column-free space available for rental. For this reason, the external structure had literally become a grid of steel columns made with prefabricated blocks that were mounted on site. These are the thin steel nerves mentioned by debunker Alberto Angela, 244 steel columns placed approximately 2 feet apart, which supported 40% of the weight of the towers.
Good one, debunker.
Far from being two empty parallelepipeds, the internal structure was comprised of 47 steel columns, so long and sturdy that a special factory in Japan had to be built in order to assemble them. It was the core structure to support the majority of the weight of the building, 60% of it, and not the external structure. The core structure seen on the left is what the 9/11 Commission has called a hollow steel shaft. This is the same core structure near the base of the tower. The core structure was an actual, extremely robust steel skyscraper built within another skyscraper. The core structure housed the stairs, the elevators, and all other services needed for the functioning of the tower. The inner walls of the core structure were made of simple layers of sheetrock. A long series of steel trusses connected the core structure to the external one and supported the floors. The floors were also prefabricated rectangular pieces covered by a thin layer of concrete. The internal and external structure connected through an umbrella-like structure called a hat truss, which kept together the towers and bound them from above. The idea that this kind of structure is fragile and therefore no longer used after 9/11 is disproven by the new Building 7 built by Larry Silverstein.
Oh.
A strong central structure supports the majority
Larry,
of the weight
back
of the
at it
building.
again.
Long steel beams support the floors and connect the core structure.
Wait, Sneeko just got banned? Yeah, he should have. I never liked that guy. He was a fucking loser the entire time. No, I'm just kidding. Wait, did he really get banned? They finally got me. Addressing the allegations. Wait, this is a 3-hour video.
On the seafront of Naples overlooking
Copyright, he thinks. Okay. His stream got taken down. Gotcha.
To the external one, allowing for a large column-free space in between, a very similar concept to the one used in the Twin Towers. Most importantly, the debunkers forget to mention that the Twin Towers were built with a structural redundancy of 3 to 5 times the weight they were meant to support.
RochesterInsider.com is kind of doing a March bracket. Okay, church bans autistic kid. Listen to this story. This is amazing.
Raising a son with severe autism is not easy, but for the Race family, church makes things easier.
That's our strength. That's how we get through all of this.
I know why they banned him.
Why?
Because obviously they thought his mind was the playground of the devil. Get it? It's idle.
I love the get it.
Ta-da!
Oh, God. All right, hold on.
Oh, I know why they banned him.
All right, listen.
Oh, was that awful?
Listen, stop. Stop now, please. I beg you. Stop. Stop. Those teeth. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm writing down my food order.
I know. Hold on. Can I have a smoothie?
Oh, you're gonna get. I want a smoothie so bad, but you know what happens though?
What?
By like 5 o'clock, that smoothie works its magic.
It's good though.
And I'm reading Popular Mechanics in the bathroom.
But that's the beauty
Sitting
of it.
on the bowl so long, I have baby fawn legs when I stand up. All shaky, I fall down. A tiger tries to get me.
You should wobble out to your driveway and just splatter on your driveway so your stupid birds have something to eat.
Birds don't eat human shit. Oh.
Maybe some little niblets in there.
Well, the smoothies have some fine goodness in there. And it's not, the point is it hasn't stayed in Anthony long enough to become that.
Stop. I don't know what it is about smoothie. Turns everything into a salad shooter.
All right, I got something to play for you.
Mom.
Yes, honey?
You know we were talking yesterday?
Yes, we were.
Do you know about periods?
Yes, what about periods?
Do you have periods?
Yes, all women have periods.
Tell me what happens.
Blood from inside of my body comes outside from an opening between my legs. Do you have a question, Jill?
Yes, I want to know if Susie has periods.
Susie?
Yes, Mom?
Jill wants to know something. What do you want, Jill?
Susie, do you have periods?
Do I have periods?
Jill, all women have periods about every 4 weeks for 3 or 4 days. When I'm on my period, blood from inside of my body comes outside from an opening between my legs.
Susie, what about my teacher? Does Miss Jones have periods?
Yes, Jill, your teacher, Mrs. Jones, does have periods. All women have periods about every 4 weeks for 3 or 4 days.
How dumb is this kid? She should be punched in the face and made to give a Hummer in a gymnasium.
Dude, that's
stupid questions.
Dude.
Do you get a period?
Ugh. Ugh. Don't you get how smart I am?
What?
She's a slow person asking about periods, and I segged into this.
Are you sure?
I thought you.
Yes.
I thought it was a little kid.
No,
that wasn't like a daughter talking
it's
to...
a trainable.
Stop it.
Wow.
They used to be called trainables.
I thought it was like a 7-year-old or something that's being told about periods.
No, this is trainables audio.
Oh, my God. I love this stuff. I cannot get enough of this. I love old 50s sex tapes where they talk about sex.
Yeah.
And I love the trainable ones where it's teaching retards about, mentally challenged people.
Right.
About life, sex, things like that.
Ready to puke?
What is this one about?
Hi, girls.
Hi, Dad.
What have you girls been talking about?
About periods, Daddy. Dad, can I ask you something?
Sure, honey. What is it?
Does Aunt Carol have periods?
Yes, Jill. All women have periods about every 4 weeks.
But, Dad, men don't have periods, do they?
That's right, honey. Men do not. Only women. Blood from inside a woman's body comes outside from an opening between her legs
when I punch
about
her in
every
the face.
4 weeks.
But the blood, won't it get on my clothes?
No, it won't, because you use a sanitary pad.
A sanitary pad.
Yes, a sanitary pad.
Susie, what's a sanitary pad?
Come on, Jill, I'll show you. I'm having my period now. Let's go into the bathroom.
She should have asked her black friend what's a sanitary pad. He would have said, yo, man, that's a clean apartment.
We're going into the silly zone. Here we go. Hold on, kids.
Sure. Blood comes from your mother's body between her legs when I push her down the stairs.
And you know the whole time the father is answering the 17-year-old, he's just looking at her head, picturing how nice a hanger would look in the end of it.
Unfortunately, blood didn't come out of your mother when you were born. Can received. What an idiot I am.
That's all right. That's
It didn't take.
Yeah, they went with it though, Aunt. Sometimes they just go with it with you.
Oh, big, stupid, hammer-headed sperm cell swimming toward the egg.
Oh, beat-o.
I beat the whole crew here.
Just clumsily stepping on all the other sperm.
Oh, just caught a wave, pushed it up forward, pushed it in front of everybody. Well, I'm in the lead. Hey, what's in here? The miracle. Please. Wonderful.
Want to hear more?
Dopey Mo haircut on the sperm. Oh, big fat tongue hanging out. Wiggling its way through that egg. Oh, I made it. There's some Einstein one, just comes in second. Oh, life. Fuck it.
That would make a great fucking shirt.
Yeah. Life.
Life. ...
And that
Fuck it.
That dumb sperm shows up and the egg is trying to avoid eye contact. Like maybe if I just look down, all stupid won't latch on.
Please, too stupid to figure out how to get in here. There it is. And then years later you get, do you get a period, Dad? No, you dummy.
No, that's when I disappear for 4 days.
Yeah.
And go hunting with the boys.
Every 4 weeks. Big, dopey, flat-headed sperm. Oh.
Well, we have more.
Oh, please, I hope so.
This is a sanitary pad. This is where I keep them. Look, it is blue on one side, white on the other. That's right. It
Red
also
all
has
over.
sticky stuff, like glue on the blue side. See? It's sticky. Do you know why it's sticky? No. Sticky so the pad will stick to my panties.
Oof. How about sticking it over your mouth, stupid?
This is hot.
Yeah.
Jesus. So it sticks to my panties.
Sexy about, and you know those panties are nothing sexy. Big, nasty bloomers.
Big retard underwears.
Thank God we didn't live back then, man. Thank God.
They're equal size in the front and the back. You know, that whole equal amount of material.
Right. Where do I stick them? Well, between the brown and yellow stain. That's where you should
Sure. One piece of adhesive goes on the front panel.
Oh, any underwear that has a panel to it, lose it.
This sticks on the front panel.
Piano.
Yeah, sometimes they put little frilly things on the waistband to make it look sexy. It ain't working.
Oh, God, what a mess back then, though. The
That's
panties were
great.
too big. The hair down there was making your panties look like you were popping Jiffy Pop popcorn.
Oh.
And then you got this thing
The
that you...
sanitary belt.
Then you got something that sticks to the whole mess.
Yeah,
So you
use
don't
this
bleed
belt.
into your fucking bloomers.
Yeah, use this belt. For what, my pad? No, to hang your retarded self with.
The inside of her panties smells like Indonesia 2 weeks after the tsunami.
Oh. How do you use it? I'm having my period now. I'll show you how I use it.
Ugh.
You mean the blood's coming from inside your body now? Yes, from the opening between my legs. This is a used sanitary pad.
Oh,
Look.
come on! Wow!
Oh.
It looks like jelly.
Whoa, man, that's brutal.
Look, there's blood on it. See? That's right. Blood coming from inside my body through an opening between my legs.
Look closer. Closer. No, closer. That old gag.
Yeah, like a pie. All right, let me have it.
This is a sanitary napkin, Stanley. Well, let me have it, Ollie. Indeed, I will let you have it. Stanley, get a little closer to the sanitary napkin. What are you going to do with it, Ollie? I'm going to let you have it. But I don't think I want it, Ollie. You said you want it, now I'll give it to you.
Oh.
I hope you enjoyed it, old bloodface.
Oh, is that awful? I gotta hear more of that.
Oh, that awful thing she pulled out. Must have looked like a red slug with skin tags on it.
When the pad has this much blood on it, it's a good time to change it. I'll show you how I change it.
Yeah.
Watch carefully, okay? See how the pad sticks to my panties? See? I fold it over. Now I wrap it up. This way it won't make any mess. Now I put it in the nearest wastebasket.
Like Daddy and Mommy made with
I
you.
do not put it in the toilet.
Mess.
I put it in the nearest wastebasket.
Ugh.
Now I take the clean pad. See? See, Jill? Blue. White. See? That's there so the pad will stick to panties. See how it sticks to my panties?
Didn't you just rip her
You
uterus
see?
out?
Yes. That's all there is to it.
That's all there is to it. Bingo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is brutal. There's a film with this? How much does she show?
Actually, this came from Nathaniel, right?
Does she show any scenes? Ah, Nathaniel. What a find, my friend.
Nice job.
Wow.
We love these.
This beats the crap out of the Danny fetus story.
Okay.
He's flipping me the
Is
bird.
this online or is this actually a home video? His sister Jill.
Oh, God. That's horrible. Is it a video?
Yes, one that I definitely found on my own and was not sent in by a listener.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm better than Danny.
Of
Thank
course
you.
you are. I would love to see. Did they show any? Is the
well,
older sister showing the snatch?
No, it's she's
damn it.
wearing one of those old long skirt kind of things.
Oh, so she takes her panties off under the skirt and kind of.
Yeah, but I'll let Opie play the next clip. But they do show what they're talking about in the next clip.
Oh, they do.
Nothing. No.
When she takes her panties off under the skirt, does it look like the elevator in The Shining?
Wow.
old blood fountain gash.
Great trainable, isn't she?
And she's a slow one, huh?
You ripped your wife's panties off and then you left it crumpled in the hallway. I don't recollect that at all.
I think I should change my sanitary pad.
Oh, and when do you think you should change your sanitary pad?
As soon as possible. Oh. Very good.
Well, the next track?
Yes.
The trainable puts a pad on.
Puts a pad on.
Yes.
All right, looking forward to it.
Now you try it. Let's pretend you're having your period. Let's make believe that blood is coming out from inside your body through an opening between your legs now.
Okay, I'll get a pad. Look, it's blue on one side and white on the other.
That's right.
It's sticky.
It is sticky.
It's sticky, all right.
Like Daddy's tummy.
Sticky because it'll stick to your panties. Are you ready to put it on now?
Yes. First I put my panties down.
Oh.
Okay, the pad. Now what do we do?
Peel off the paper.
Right, peel off the paper. Where are you putting it? The wastebasket.
The wastebasket.
Okay. Now what are you going to do?
I'm sticking it in my panties.
Right, down into your panties. You placed it on there, so it sticks.
Meanwhile, this dummy is bumbling around the bathroom, dripping blood like an Alzar Cowie beheading video. Stumbling around with her awful bloomers pulled down her ankles.
Where's the pad? Where's the pad?
How old is Jill, Nathaniel?
Am I on? I'd estimate about 12.
12?
13.
13, just learning about this?
Yeah, dropping trowel in this video.
And is she profoundly, retarded, or is it... Because she sounds like, you could kind of teach her a thing.
Yeah, she's about,
It's Down syndrome, or is she just...
She's got a pretty big head.
All right, I was just wondering what type of mental disability she has.
Is she an actress, though? Playing the part?
What?
Hey, Julia Lewis was able to pull it off. You never know.
No, I think she's just a highly trained trainable.
Yeah.
All right.
Wow, okay.
Got to go to the phone real fast. Taylor in VA, Virginia. Taylor?
Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Dude, you guys just made me, you jerk off made me spray coffee all over my windshield with the fucking, here, I'm on my period now. Let me show you. Fucking disgusting.
This is the worst.
Jimmy sitting there massaging a rod?
No, dude, I'm packing like a half right now.
Eric wants to know if this is the sexiest state audition. Eric from Philly.
Very good. Back to the tape.
Into your panties. You placed it on there, so it sticks on, okay?
Okay. Yes, real good. I pull my panties up.
Good job, little smucker's
Wash
leg.
my hands. I dry my hands. Now I'm all ready.
It's all ready.
See, I'm all ready.
That's jump in front of a bus.
I'm really proud of you. You wear it for a while for practicing for tennis. Let's go tell Mom and Dad what I did.
She's got to wear it for practice.
What a sick family.
Yeah, this is a little twisted, man.
You know, one time Dumbbell was going to put it on adhesive side up.
Oh.
It's sticky. She's going to seal herself up and just save the world a lot of trouble.
You know what you do? You just wait until they have it in the shower at school and throw tampons at them. You'll plug it up, plug it up.
This was before tampons, though.
Yeah.
They had to use a lot bigger stuff.
Oh, my God. Having to teach this girl about a tampon.
When she's crying in the bathroom, you just point at it and go, "Bad girl."
Oh, dirty.
Dirty girl.
Filthy. That means you're a whore and Jesus hates you.
That's the devil coming out. What, you give her a crucifix and put on The Exorcist? You know what to do, stupid.
What else do we have, Opie? I gotta hear more.
Jill, I have a question for you.
Ooh.
What do you do with the one you take off that has a lot of blood on it?
Fold it over, wrap it up, and put it in the nearest wastebasket.
That's right. You fold it, wrap it up, and put it in the nearest wastebasket.
Now I know all women have periods.
Put it in the wastebasket.
That's it.
This guy's in hell.
Fold it up and throw it away.
Now the whole bathroom smells like a jar of pennies.
Well, Anthony, I got more.
Sorry, I stepped on you.
Okay.
Thanks to Nathaniel. We got trainables saying penis and cock.
Oh!
But first, it's a little bit about sex ed.
Sex ed. Nice.
You got to train these people.
Yes, Nathaniel?
Sorry, this whole video, it's like the ABCs of sex for trainables or whatever. It starts with 2 minutes of just this trainable walking along a street and a car pulling up, coaxing her into it and driving off.
Was it a Saturn?
So I guess this is try to prevent that sort of thing from happening.
Yeah. Oh, God, is that great?
And it wasn't a trainable. It was just Voss walking after his car broke down.
And what year would you say these are made?
These are definitely 60s.
Oh,
60s, early or late?
Has to be early. Because
early 60s are really close to 50s.
Yeah, it has that 50 sound to it.
Yeah, this one might be a little later than the one from before, because if you hear the soundtrack's just sort of this hippie...
Little groovy?
Like, I believe it was by the Lake Springs.
Great, and then your pad will look like a tie-dyed shirt, you tool.
Anthony, before we move on with this, we have a trainable talking about satellite radio.
Really?
Yeah, you could train these people.
That's interesting.
You could train people to talk about satellite radio.
Well, let me hear that.
How was told?
What was it? What was that? Mel from Manhattan?
Very funny. Back to the trainable audio, Anthony?
Oh, absolutely. I want to hear more of this.
All right. Where's Nathaniel? This was his moment in the sun. He gave up on us?
Oh, believe me, he'll be in before I finish this sentence.
You know,
there he
back
is.
There he is.
It makes sense when you say their names. The 15-second delay doesn't hit the eye.
Like a spidey sense. Jesus.
Pavlov's interns. When back in the older days, they would just commit these people. You know, they'd throw them in an institution and let them crap all over themselves. But
when women got pregnant?
No.
They
should. No, the mentally challenged people, Opie. And then during the late 50s, early 60s, they started doing this thing where they figured, you know, they could what they called mainstreaming. They could put them into society, make them productive members of society. And an experience I have with mainstreaming was an elementary school I went to.
It was called mainstreaming?
Opie, was called mainstreaming. Yes, they put them back into a society because they realized that they could contribute something, and there were different levels of these mental handicaps, and they didn't have to just take them all and throw them all into an institution.
Forget Aristotle and fuck Socrates. Here comes Professor Anthony.
Knows a little bit about everything.
So
many complaints about that, by the way, while we were on vacation.
The worst song ever.
That thing is not going away.
What song do you mean, Op?
Forget Aristotle and fuck Socrates. Here comes Professor Anthony.
You know, the song is bad enough. It really is. But that spit slurp that he does right after Socrates.
What spit slurp?
Listen close.
Forget Aristotle and fuck Socrates. Here comes Professor Anthony.
You couldn't get through that without drooling, you mental, you ugh. Socrates. Here comes Professor Anthony. Thank you, Rich Voss, for that song. You slurping buffoon. Yes, mainstreaming, Opie. And when I was a child in elementary school in East Northport, they introduced mainstreaming to my school. They had a special class of mentally challenged children that went to our school. But they were in a separate class than ours. And I was in, I guess, second, third grade maybe. But during lunch, that's when
you
brought them out, and we all dined together. And it was such a treat for the regular kids.
Dude, you just brought back a memory, man. In my high school, Harborfields High School, there was that section of the school that no one went to.
No one went.
And you had no idea what was going on in that section of the school until lunchtime. And they paraded those people into the lunchroom.
I'm sitting at the lunch table just trying to choke down a lunch. And right next to you would plop down a tray. And there were kids, and I'm talking old school retarded too, like 70s retarded, not like now retarded where there's tests for these things and they suck them right out. There was a kid, because now, you get retarded kids, but for the most part they got a lot of tests for these things, There was one kid who had water on the brain. What archaic disease is this? His head was huge, and I'm not talking big like, hey, that guy's got a big head. Hey, you with the bass pants, you got a big fucking head. Oh, not that comedy big head. His head was huge, and he had this little pointy chin, he couldn't keep it up. He had a little skinny neck. He couldn't keep his head up. Yes, Jimmy?
Oh, no. I'm listening about I'm waiting for the glasses, and when he got into radio as a producer part comes.
Yes, we had attendance. Teacher would yell out Sparks, and he would go, ah! And he couldn't keep his head up. So it would fall down. I don't know how I could convey this on radio, but he'd be sitting there, and his head would go, like wrap around. Like it would do a circle, whereas his chin would go into his shoulder, middle of his chest, other shoulder, back up. That's it. It would go, all day. He would do this. And, of course, the really, weird teeth, like Clint Howard teeth from the Star Trek episode. And then drool, lots of drool. And then another kid that had a horse eye. You ever see a horse's pupil? It's wide and fuzzy. It's like rectangular shaped. I could get into the whole thing of why a horse has different pupils.
Forget Aristotle and fuck Socrates. Here comes Professor Anthony.
I'd like to learn something today, Anthony, if you will, fast.
Well, they have different vision than we have. They could see in the dark a lot better, and their pupils open up. They have much better peripheral vision than humans have also. Instead of a round pupil, it's a rectangular shaped pupil.
They also have big cocks.
Horse cocks, I hear.
They really do.
And he had this horse eye. His pupil was all screwed up like that. And he was another one, like just drool. All the drool on their hands, and you're trying to eat, and, I'm sorry. And then there was this kid called Gallagher. But me and my brother called him Dally Dooley, because that's how he said his name. He'd be like, what's your name? And he went, Dally Dooley, because his name was Gallagher. And we called him Dally Dooley.
Well, there's a whack-bag name that'll be in about 5 minutes.
How quickly will someone be Dally Dooley on Whack-Bag now? Welcome to Whack-Bag Dally Dooley. And we called him Dally Dooley, and he would pick his nose constantly picking his nose. And he was Dally Dooley. And we'd be like, ew. We'd be sitting at lunch and go, ew, here comes Dally Dooley. And we'd run away from Dally Dooley, who would then sit down and proceed to pick his nose and drool all over everything. And what a horrible thing. Great for the retarded children that are sitting there and being mainstream. But how about the poor second graders that are sitting there trying to, adjust to life, that are now getting all these complexes and feeling all weird and not being able to eat comfortably because Dally Dooley is next to him. Or Horse-Eye Kid. Or the kid that can't hold his big fat head up.
We had a retarded boy at our school he was functional retarded, but his name was Mark, and he would always scratch his face and go, "Ah!"
Holy Jesus.
And when he ate pizza, you know how you get that awful square pizza? Mm-hmm. The first thing he would do, he would just scrape all the cheese off the pizza and then just eat the red
crust or
bread.
whatever? Yeah, the saucy bread.
He used to hate when you'd blow in his face.
So what did you do relentlessly?
Oh, hey, Mark. Both hands scratching his dumb cheeks.
Oh, that's great. Unbelievable. They weed all these out now.
Yep.
Sure, you see an occasional Down syndrome, but can't they test for that now, too?
Yeah, I think sooner or later.
But I think the people that have them now are people that are like, well, we don't care. We're having a child. But I think they test for it because you really don't see as many mentally challenged and physically challenged like that people as you used to. We were going to school with goddamn thalidomide babies, flipper kids. How the hell are you going to learn math when you got a flipper kid right there? It's impossible.
You're just trying to wonder how they hold the pencil.
How the hell is he holding that pencil?
Can you make that noise again, Jimmy?
Yeah! You're bothering me! Oh, he hated that.
Was he Lou Costello?
Right in his dumb face.
You're bothering me!
That's what he would say. Stop bothering me.
He's blowing in my... Stop blowing in my... Abbott! He's... Here comes Dolly Dooley Abbott. Dolly... Jesus.
All right. Do we have time to get into the sex ed trainable audio stuff?
I would love to hear at least a little sample.
All right. Nathaniel brought this in. It's the ABCs of teaching a trainable about sex ed, right? Yes. Let's go with the first clip here.
Sex education for trainables? Is it possible? Or is it even necessary? Well, let's start with the last question first. Why necessary? Well, we must teach those with serious disabilities that hinder their learning to live as successfully as possible with other people.
There you go.
Now, this includes their sexual behavior. But rather than teach, which is somewhat difficult, it becomes a training situation with as much explanation as they can absorb. And is it possible? Well, through training, they will realize who they are as men and women and what is expected of them in social situations. Sex education for the trainables should be made as simple as ABC. A, awareness of their bodies and their feelings. B, understanding the simple mechanics of reproduction. And C, training in responsibilities and appropriate social behavior.
You say you train a trainable, put it in and pull it out. If it looks like a fudgicle, you did it wrong, stupid.
Was that horrible?
Let me move right on to the next track.
Yeah, let's give it a listen. Maybe
So let's start with A. What should they learn about their bodies? As much as they can. Now, the ideal situation is a one-to-one basis. But if this is not possible, the group should be kept very small and include only those who will pay attention. Those who teach must do some special examination of how they themselves feel about sex.
That's great.
Only those who will pay attention.
The rest should be executed.
Turn them over to Dr. Mengele and allow him to learn what he can.
The boxcar pulls up to a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that was the beginnings of the whole thing. Not, maybe not very sympathetic, but I guess it paved the way, Opie.
Well, this next track, it's just priceless.
Room full of genetic embarrassments.
Penis. Say penis.
Penis.
Louder.
Penis.
Give me another word for penis. Prick. Peter.
Daddy's snack.
Rod. Dick. Frick. We've got it. Me. What? Me? Ding dong.
Ding dong.
One. Right one. Wiener.
Talking about and using sexual terminology is difficult for many people because of the guilt and embarrassment from our heritage.
Guilt and embarrassment of the kids.
Frick, Peter, cock, rod, dick, meat, ding dong, wand, wiener, tool, joint.
All right. Wasn't that the last XM meeting we were at in Washington? Sounds like it. Wow.
They should be reciting that in a room that they're expecting a shower to come out of, and little pellets. Ding dong, wiener.
Oh, God. Ooh, man. It's amazing.
Ding dong.
Just one lousy chromosome.
Sandy, we're going to talk again about the parts of your body, okay? And the fact that a girl has 3 holes between her legs.
Yeah.
3. How many, Sandy?
Lorraine.
But I was Major Nelson, but 3 holes.
3. Stop with that third hole. It's just 2.
What can that third one do for me?
Right.
Nothing.
What is the third one?
Pee-pee.
You like the third one the best,
There's
you
only
idiot.
2 holes, all right?
I know. That third one, they took it. Come on. It's like, you know.
A hole within a hole.
Yeah,
Who's counting?
1 hole and 2 snack dispensers.
It's good to be back in New York.
Lorraine. Okay, now let's look at this picture. Okay?
Yeah.
You see that? This hole here is the hole where you make a BM.
Yes.
And it's called your rectum.
Yes.
Okay?
What is
a
it?
BM. What year is this? This is where you make a BM. She doesn't even understand what that is.
Yeah. Bavarian
Okay?
motor.
And this hole here is the hole from which you pee when you go to the bathroom or urinate.
Yes. What else would you use it for?
Well, that's just used to urinate.
No, it's not. You used to menstruate, too.
No, that's
No.
another hole, and we'll
Dummy
talk about
smacker.
that. Because there's 3 holes here. Now, you show me what I showed you.
Yeah.
And this one is hovering over Jimmy Norton's face.
No, this is the hole you pee from.
Oh, God. Next.
This is the hole you make a BM from.
Yes.
And this hole in between the 2,
Yes.
that's called your vagina.
Yes.
And that's the hole from which you
This
menstruate.
is your only redeeming
I
quality.
should repeat, if possible, to show that the lesson is being understood.
What a nightmare.
This is the hole you make a BM from. This is the hole you pee from. And this is the hole that protects you from being beheaded at birth.
This is the hole that gives men any reason to talk to you.
Without this hole, you'd be considered plant life.
Oh, is that awful? Oh, and she wasn't getting it. It's 3 holes.
And the teacher
She
lost
can't
her.
get it.
The teacher lost her voice.
Oh,
What a nightmare for the
this
teacher.
might not menstruate. No, you idiot. Jeez.
Teacher has that awful Philly accent. Here's your 1 hole. You put this in.
Yeah.
And this is your other hole to pee out of.
How bad did this woman do on her SATs that she's doing this?
Oh,
God.
people choose to do these things.
I guess.
Work with those people.
Hey, Frank.
Uh-oh.
How come you haven't gotten up yet?
I'm wet and sticky.
Oh.
I remember this one from the old days.
Frank's wet and sticky. Oh.
Frank was playing with himself.
I think he had a wet dream.
Oh, it was the wet dream one?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Frank. How come you haven't gotten up yet?
I'm wet and sticky.
Oh. What, when did that happen?
Dreaming of a
Did it happen
pinwheel.
during-
Ooh, ah.
pretty color. Oh!
I made a mess in my bed from your retarded grandson, Frank.
Oh. Hey, Frank. How come you haven't gotten up yet?
I'm wet and sticky.
Oh. When did that happen? Did it happen during the night? Or
After
did
I
it just
choked
happen
the
now?
cat.
You know?
I set a fire in a warehouse.
If you're sticky, maybe it was a wet dream. You know what a wet dream is?
No.
Well, you know, how old are you now? You must be about
37.
Oh. God damn.
Oh,
well, a little awkward. Well, you, what happened? Well, Jesus. Oh.
I'm wet and sticky.
Did a guy with a Kermit voice come in and clean it up? It's really awful.
He wants to help the kid out.
Of course he does.
You hear something like that, you just pretend you didn't hear it, and you just keep walking. It's someone else's problem.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Have fun. Right. Checking on you later.
Fuck yeah,
Off
man.
That. Colorful little smoothie. I made a smoothie in my bed. Wet and sticky.
How much time we have left in the show? That's it?
Toolbag from New Orleans calls him old spermy legs.
Great. All right, let's see if we get through at least this one here.
Wholehearted. What the hell is that?
The counselor shows a calm, accepting approach to this boy who has just had a wet dream. There is no scolding or recrimination. The boy is not frightened, and there is no reason for him to feel guilty.
Frank, I'm sure you understand now just what happened, and that this is probably going to happen quite a few times more, like it does to everybody else, and it's quite normal, right? I think the best thing we can do now is to show you how to clean it up. Okay? Okay.
All
now,
right.
clean it up. Clean it up.
Clean it up.
You guinea retard. Go on. Be a premature ejaculator, just like your father.
I'm gonna clean it up. Use the sheets. It's like normal people. Whatever's laying around the room. That sock's gonna go in the wash anyway.
Never clean it up. Just leave it there. Sleep on the other side. I used to wipe up, I swear to God, with the end of my sheets. It was hard and stiff. My grandmother one time saw it. She's like, what is this? I'm like, oh, I spilled Pepsi.
And the acoustic guitar music started.
Jimmy?
Grandma, I'm wet and sticky.
It's like, what did she think it was?
Oh, we're going to have to end there, unfortunately. We're running out of show.
This is hot.
Yeah,
that is really good. We got more of those, right?
Yeah, we'll start the show with it tomorrow because
we
we can't rush through this stuff. It's just too good. Thank you, Nathaniel.
I think it's funny that you said Frank had a wet dream thinking about a pinwheel.
Yeah, what else gets him off? Stop it. Maybe cracking a girl's neck in the barn.
Just petting her hair.
Just petting her hair, and I had a wet dream.
Oh. Went to tend the rabbits. You know how it goes.
Hey, let's go to Long Island. Long Island, what did you learn today?
What's going on, guys?
Hey.
How you doing, boo-boo?
Hi, guy.
Ain't it great out there?
Yeah, I learned that black people think that sanitary pads to clean apartments.
Oh, very good.
That's right.
Thank you very much. Pinchy from Whackbag. What's up, Pinchy?
Hey, buddies. How's it going?
Hey.
Hi, Angel.
Hi, Pinchy.
Hey, today I learned that Sirius just signed a deal with Commodore 64. And Danny has Carmine Ragusa hair.
There was a lot of good lines today, I gotta tell you.
Stinks.
Oh, we have to get this spot in one more time, they're telling me?
Oh.
All right.
I learned to smoke, if you smoke pot, listen to XM76, fine tuning.
Yes,
learn
that was a good one. Hey, Anthony, speaking of trainables, we have one that is helping us out with getting the word out about XM Satellite Radio.
Of course.
The other company paying him about, what, like $500 million?
$500 million, $500 million.
So I'm sure they're very happy to hear that Howard is promoting XM Satellite Radio.
It's even a lot of money to you. You bet it is. Howard Stern talking about XM satellite radio.
If you're planning a road trip this weekend, it's time to take XM satellite radio along for the ride. XM gives you 100% commercial-free music. It's the ultimate playlist with channels for album rock, alternative, heavy metal, hip-hop, unsigned bands, blues, jazz. There's an XM channel for everyone in the family, including the biggest names in news, sports, talk, and comedy. All in digital quality sound for less than $10 a month. No wonder it's the most listened to satellite radio service. The XM Roadie from Delphi can turn any radio into an XM radio. It's the smallest satellite radio ever, so it looks great on your dashboard. Plus, for a limited time, you'll also get a free home kit, so you can connect XM to any home stereo. XM makes a great graduation or Father's Day gift. Check it out. Electronic stores, including Best Buy and Circuit City. Beyond AM, beyond FM, it's XM satellite radio.
Ah, thank you, Howard. Thank you very much. At least we could agree on something. Very nice. Oh, that's the end of show music, huh?
I learned one side is white, one side is blue. That's from Dally Dooley. Dally Dooley. God, you know something? I hadn't thought about Dally Dooley in years and years and years.
That's one thing.
And I'm just talking about it. The name came back to me.
That's one thing I love about this show. It just reminds you of stuff that you thought you forgot about
Dude,
years
10
ago.
years of radio. I never talked about Dally Dooley.
I know, it's great.
Dally Dooley.
Cody from Buffalo. I learned the inside of a retard's pad smells like Indonesia 2 weeks after the tsunami. Let's see. Chris from Chicago. I learned today retards don't like blood in their pants and Jimmy blowing in their face.
No.
Ben from Cleveland. I learned today that you can wait until the last hour to actually start the show. We had a lot of good stuff today.
I'll say we did, Ben.
I'll say.
I got to defend that one.
You bet. There are 6 versions of Dolly Dooley on Whackbag right now.
Wow, already.
Nice. Nick, what did you learn on the program?
I learned Stern's a total whore.
Whore?
Whore?
All right, and Harv from New Orleans. Nolans.
Hey, that gal doing the 3-hole lecture sounded just like Stalker Patty. Almost made me run into a tree.
Yeah, that was some funny stuff, man.
No, that's the second hole. That's the one that you use for a BM.
Andy from New Mexico?
Yeah, I learned that BM stands for bowel movement, and in Jimmy's case, it probably stands for reserved for Big Mule.
Oh.
Program complete.
Any more fake?
What?
Why Doug?
Dugout
What?
Doug.
Meaning the caller, not you.
Oh, the caller?
Yeah.
Oh, you think that? No,
Nah,
I
he
think
wasn't
was
fake.
serious.
I don't know. To be honest with you,
I think he was serious.
No, he was dead serious.
No, whatever.
Yeah, I think he was serious. You get idiots like that. He doesn't like the show. He was probably flipping through.
Yep.
Got to us. We said something that, you know what it is too? It's not just the general discussion we have about something. It's always something that hits home a little bit.
Sure.
Maybe he does have that big fat wife at home, and we were talking about that earlier, and it upsets him, you know? Oh, I don't want to hear this. I got to go home to it, you know? And that upsets him, so he calls up all angry. Or maybe a child with a little mental challenge,
Yeah.
something. Maybe he heard yesterday's show and was a little upset at that. By the way, I went home. Yesterday we played a lot of clips from a trainable.
Oh my God, we
video.
have we still have 5 of
we
those
have
clips.
more of those.
We can do it after the break, but go ahead.
Trainable video. It's the late 50s, early 60s way of handling retarded children. They decided they were going to make this instructional film on how parents could train their retarded children to act like normal, productive citizens of society. And it's things. This subject covered a little girl learning about getting her period and what she should do as far as using a sanitary pad. A sanitary pad. And how she should put it on and take it off and where she should put it. And I watched the video yesterday. We heard the audio here on the show.
The video's up on FoundryMusic.com?
The video is up on Foundry, and I watched it. It is hysterical. It is so goddamn funny. The older sister of the little retarded girl, who, by the way, Nathaniel said the girl was 12 or 13 years old. The girl is no older than 7.
Oh, my God.
It's like a 7-year-old little retarded girl.
Nathaniel's going to challenge
Nathaniel, do you have problems identifying little girls' ages?
Have you ever had to explain to a justice of the peace?
You said the girl was like 12.
I did say 12.
That girl was about 7 years old. 8 maybe at most.
It's not like borderline I would have picked her up or anything. 12-7, what's the big deal?
I understand, but because it makes it that much creepier that she's, like, really young.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't teach a normal girl that age, like that stuff at that age. Wait until they get, around 11 or something like that, maybe 10. But this girl was like 7 years old. It was all creepy. The older sister brings her in the bathroom. This stark nothing bathroom set it's like a toilet in a box. It's pretty much it. With this old cabinet with her maxi pads in the cabinet, and she's pulling them out. And then the highlight of this film is when the older sister sits on the toilet, pulls her panties, these big 50s bloomers down, and pulls the used maxi pad out, and it's in color. This film is in color. It's not black and white. Dude, it is like she spread cherry jelly all over the entire pad. You could not possibly see a more used pad than this. And she's showing it. This is a used pad. We take it off, roll it up. Now wrap it up in paper so it doesn't make a mess, and put it in the nearest wastebasket. And then she makes the little girl put a pad on her little panties and walk around with it for the rest of the day to practice. It is the sickest film. It's up on Foundry. I implore you to check it out.
She's just bleeding into her underwear like a punched mouth.
What?
Like a hemophiliac.
It was so much blood. It was so much blood on this thing. Just disgusting.
Well, we got to play the clips when we get back.
Oh, yeah.
We have 1, 2, 3. We have 5 more to go that we didn't get to yesterday.
I love it.
All right, we're going to take a break.
Why don't we just talk? I wanted to say something before we wrapped up. There was something I thought I had.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, shit. Right before the trainables.
I trip you up.
No.
The complaint?
I don't remember. Whatever.
Truckers, Elos.
No big deal. Just a thought that I...
Someone bitching about the show.
No. No, whatever.
All right. What's wrong?
Look at Ben. Where you been, Ben? Jimmy's just holding Ben's arm.
Oh, boy.
Oh, possible double homicide on Southern California freeway. Yeah, when they put the sheet up over the car windows.
It's not possible anymore. It happened.
That's
death.
Eesh.
What are you laughing at?
Jimmy's not letting go of Ben's arm.
Why would I let go?
Like, Jimmy does this thing where he'll like point out something on TV. You know how people point out something sometimes and they'll like touch your arm and go, dude, check that out over there.
Yeah.
And then quickly the touch goes away.
Yeah, before it becomes homo.
Yeah. Jimmy will touch your arm and go, hey, dude, check that out up there on TV. And then won't take his arm off he'll keep holding you.
Just gently. You can pull away. See, but people always think they're going to wait me out.
How did I diffuse your situation in the elevator yesterday?
Oh,
trainable audio?
Oh, I love this.
What is that? What is trainable audio?
Well, Tracy, back in the late 50s, early 60s, with mentally challenged children, what they did was train them. They called because before then they just put them in institutions and left them there to rot.
Right.
So then in the 50s and 60s they decided that these children can be trained, not taught. They said not teach. They train them like an animal, and they can enter society in that fashion by being trained. And it was an early attempt at making these people productive.
That's special ed in a way.
Special education, right. Now, there's no more retarded people. Now it's, mentally challenged, and they can all become productive members of society. Right. But this is pretty much the early phase of that whole thing. And it's the old films. Remember the old films they used to show you in school? Teaching these children about sex education. Ooh. These little retarded children.
They had a name for them, trainables.
They were called trainables.
Trainable audios?
Trainable.
No, well, we have audio.
Audio of trainable films,
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Wow, this is interesting.
Oh, it is fascinating.
Should we take a break first?
I guess they figured if you can teach a bear in Romania to tap dance with a ring through its nose, you could teach one of these idiots to not shit in its pants.
We should take a break?
You're awful.
We got to take a quick
stinky breath.
Oh, wow.
A real, I drank 11 Meisterbrows and I plowed into her car with a bulldozer. I don't know what happened, but I'm sorry that she can't move below the neck ever again.
Little bloody geese in the back seat strapped in.
That's right. That's right. 2 yellow belts and a million questions of what could have been.
Somehow in the wreckage, a little Barney video is still playing on the screen of the SUV.
I love. Does it sound like this? Little skip.
Shrek 2, just still playing as the bloody geezer strapped safely in their seat.
The little character is still talking, no idea that there's two headless geese staring at him.
You see a little Western burger roll across the street, still in its package.
That's right.
The woman is, the last thing she ever did was clutch the bag with the burger she didn't want in it.
That's it. A couple of sudsy Mexicans try to help her out of the wreckage.
Right. And
how ironic.
They know she can't feel anything below the neck, so they squeeze her tits while she stares openly like she's on succinylcholine, like The Exorcist 3.
Lady, we hate you.
Wow. Nice.
Just that filthy burrito breath in her face.
See? Well, that's the way we play out what would have happened.
They just give it a little squeeze when the police come. Dumb
But-
voices.
Very good.
Do we have time to play some audio for Tracy?
What do we got?
Of what, Opie?
Yo, dude, let me check that out.
The trainable thing.
Yeah, I would love to hear a little more.
We're never going to
trainable.
get to the end of this thing.
Yeah, but it kind of pokes fun.
All right.
I like the way we stretch.
Well, you
things
gave
over
the
days and
explanation.
days.
It's basically people you could train back in the late 50s, early 60s.
Retarded children.
Retarded children they call trainables. And here's a girl, the one from yesterday about how she has 3 holes.
Ah, this is going to be great, yeah.
Trying to explain to the trainable that she has actually 3 holes, Tracy.
Sandy, we're going to talk again about the parts of your body, okay? And the fact that a girl has 3 holes between her legs. 3. How many, Sandy? 3. Okay, now let's look at this picture. Okay? You see that? This hole here
Oh,
is the
yeah.
hole where you make a BM. Yes. And it's called...
The women have 3 holes between their legs, and they're all worth more than the annoying one between her nose and chin.
Oh.
You ever seen a grown man naked?
I didn't know that was part of the trainable video.
Well,
You like movies about gladiators?
Cindy's a 3-holer.
Yes. And it's called your rectum. Yes. Okay? And this hole here is the hole from which you pee when you go to the bathroom or urinate.
Yes. What else would you use it for?
Well, that's just used to urinate.
No, it's not. She used to menstruate, too.
No, that's another hole,
Oh.
and we'll talk about that.
She's trying to teach the teacher. The teacher's saying, no, that's where you pee from. And she's like, yes, also menstruate. No, no, you dummy. Of course not.
Why am I bothering?
You menstruate out of this one, and you just fist it. Just belt her in it.
Because there's 3 holes here. Now, you show me what I showed you.
Yeah. This is when you sit. This is when you menstruate.
No. This is the hole you pee from.
Only 3.
This is the hole you make a BM from.
Yes.
And this hole in between the 2,
Yes.
that's called your vagina.
Yes.
And that's the hole from which you menstruate.
Yes.
Now
Have them
you show
repeat,
it.
if possible, to show that the lesson is being understood.
Oh, she's got a 33.33% chance of getting it right.
I can't believe you guys found this in the archives, man.
Oh, yeah.
Well, by the way,
This is
what?
straight out the archives.
Why is this even needed? Because if you put a pad on, it covers all 3 holes, and you
Right.
sit on the toilet, just breathe deep, and whatever needs to come out will come out, and then you get up. It's not
You
a
don't have to
complicated
know
issue.
where anything's coming from.
Exactly.
What the hell's she going to do?
Right.
It's the Peter. They're all centrally located.
Yeah.
What you do is you lay under the girl, and you say, all right, look, this hole will get you 200. If you suck something out of this hole, we'll get you 300. And this hole will get you 400, but you need a day of preparation. You know, so you eat right.
Hey, with that, the next clip, Anthony.
Yeah, what is this one?
Talking to a trainable who, I guess she's discovered she's sticky, and they're going to explain what that's all
What?
about.
Oh,
Maybe
man.
she's having her time.
We'll see what this
Let's
is.
hear.
Hey, Frank. How come you haven't gotten up yet?
Oh, that's Frank.
Oh, okay.
We heard that one yesterday.
This is where we left off, but Tracy has to hear it. Okay, now we know. The guy had a wet dream or
He had
something.
a wet dream.
Oh,
And
he stumbled across it.
So now,
he
like,
woke up and he had something in his sheets.
Right.
You know,
Oh.
the guy is going to be
so now this
sympathetic
creepy old guy is going to explain what the hell it was all about.
in creepy 50s fashion.
Yeah.
Hey, Frank. How come you haven't gotten up yet?
I'm wet and sticky.
I haven't gotten up because my fat Dominican wife told me to lay here.
He just said it because I'm sticky?
Yeah. I'm sticky.
Hey, Frank. How come you haven't gotten up yet?
I'm wet and sticky.
Oh.
Wet and sticky.
When did that happen? Did it happen during the night? Or did it just happen now? Do you know?
Fucking Voss is a better actor than this guy. He's awful. When do you think it happened, stupid? When you walked in the door? You think your pizzazz and charisma caused him
to bust?
To bust. I'm wet and sticky. Well, let's clean that up.
You know?
No.
Well, if you're sticky, maybe it was a wet dream. Do you know what a wet dream is?
It's when extreme comes and plays in your room.
Now, you must be about...
I'll bet you're the kind of guy that would fuck a person in the ass and not even have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
The counselor shows a calm, accepting approach to this boy who has just had a wet dream. There is no scolding or recrimination. The boy is not frightened, and there is no reason for him to feel guilty.
Frank, I'm sure you understand now just what happened, and that this is probably going to happen quite a few times more, like it does to everybody else. It's quite normal, right? I think the best thing we can do now is to show you how to clean it up. Okay? Okay.
Your days of finger banging, old Mary Jane Butterscotch through her pretty pink panties are over.
The counselor should have really made him feel bad and said, the next time this happens, find a small baby and pinch his nose shut.
I'm wet and sticky.
Well, no shit.
Oh, Frank is dumb as a bag of rocks.
Guiding these people through their lives.
Oh, my God.
What is he ever going to do around an office? He came in his bed and just laid it. How worthwhile is he to have around? Where's those reports? Holy shit. You gotta ship him off for scientific testing. What happens when he cut a foot off with no anesthesia? Just laying it, stupid. I can see if he got up and cleaned the load and was a little confused, but he fucking laid in it until an older gentleman walked in the room. I'm Vicky. You really are dumb, Frank. Fucking wipe it off and get on with things.
You little maggot! You make me want to vomit!
Holy shit. What is he possibly going to contribute to society? Nothing. Ugh.
Oh, God damn. I'm wet and sticky.
I can't believe
see your
that.
war face. Sir, you got a war face? Ah!
You know how Frank should have been cleaned up? His hand should have been tied behind his back, and then a nice bath in the deep end of a pool. That's how Frank should have been cleaned up. Here you go. When your face hits the drain, then your pee-pee will be all clean. Stupid.
And when the chicks with the 3 holes need to get together.
This is where a BM comes out.
Wow.
So wet and sticky. All right, we got another?
Well, we're running out of show.
Damn it! I heard those.
We'll have to do it tomorrow.
Well, no,
new one.
I never in my life heard anything like that.
No.
Great, right?
No,
That's
I'm
crazy.
thinking we have 4 clips left. We could tape it after the show ends and just play it tomorrow.
Why tape
Right,
it?
I'm going
Because
home.
because we'll do it with Tracy or something. Tracy's got to hear this audio.
Have you seen 57th Street?
Oh, there's cops all over it.
I am out.
Yeah, I gotta get out of here.
By the way,
man.
Tracy
Tracy's gotta get
Morgan,
out of here, too.
I'm a black dude.
tomorrow through Sunday, Caroline will sell out. 212-757-4100.
Thanks, Jimbo.
No, the shows will all sell. It's 1 Thursday, 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, 1 Sunday.
Can I go Friday, Tracy?
Oh, you can come anytime you want to, brother.
I'll
I'll
probably
be
go
there
Sunday.
Friday.
My
I'll
friends.
Be there Friday to
My
see
friends.
Tracy Morgan. Yes.
Yes, my friend.
Hilarious comedian.
All right. Well, I guess we do have to end the show then.
Damn.
Someone wanted to ask if Tracy Morgan's into crime scene sex.
Crime scene sex.
It's like when the girl's having her time and it ends up, the bed looks a little like you should have the police tape around it.
Oh, you mean like the period and stuff?
Yeah. It's a little
Come
messy.
on, man. I run red lights all the time.
Ah, there you go.
You know me, I don't mind a little ketchup on my Frank, baby. I told you, I'm a weedy beady bing bong freak. Take me out to the ball game. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
I hear you.
I'll run the red light.
He runs a red light. I've never heard it called that before.
Some people get a little upset at that.
Yeah, I run red lights.
Yeah. Like Jimmy don't like that at all.
No, I'm not about blood. If you get a log coming out, I'm not going to judge you. But blood, man, I can't have it.
Well, you know, that's lubrication.
Oh,
God.
I'm like a Jamaican. I won't even allow them to prepare my meals when she's on her period.
Really?
Oh, Jamaican men don't care for the rag at all. You know, sleep on the floor, bitch. Yeah, they don't. I love Jamaicans.
Little, what do you call that? The blue cheese, the ranch dressing. You know, I like when it's like nice and gushy and you put it in and it makes that fart sound.
Oh God, no! Not when it's red like that, though. When it's red.
Not when it's wet. You know.
Like that, though.
I don't like the dry stuff. You know, you gotta use Monistat and all that other crazy stuff.
All right, with that, we want to thank Tracy Morgan for stopping by. Caroline's all weekend long.
That's it. I'm out of here.
Problem, it's that guy.
Oh, so they're ranking pretty good there, Eric.
Oh, God.
They're ranking you pretty good.
Oh. Oh, you guys make me feel much better.
So what? We're just waiting for some kind of
Yeah, sorry, I can't. If there were some tools around, I'd start working on myself. But sorry, until the guy comes in and starts doing it, it's pretty much ooh.
What kind of magazines?
Fill out my paperwork. No, I bypassed the whole waiting room magazine thing and everything.
Oh, so you're just right in the room?
Yeah, that's close enough for paperwork. They're taking my paperwork. I got some other stuff I got to fill out on the other page, huh? Oh, I've been talking on the radio, sir. Maybe I should fill out some of this paper. You get to getting me in trouble.
What are some of the questions you got to fill out?
Just the name, social security number, crap like that. You fill out all the time. Why are you now seeking dental treatment? Ow! That's all I'm writing.
Patrice, do you realize this is a national talk show?
Yeah.
We're talking about his band mouth.
Yeah, this is it. This is what we do.
Why don't you have Master Poe kick it out?
We got everyone bamboozled.
Oh, man.
All right, well.
Anthony's bad tooth on this day.
Anthony's bad tooth, yes. Anthony, we want to do the trainable audio, but I don't think we should do it without you.
Gotta wait, Frank.
Oh, damn.
Can they shoot a full Novocaine?
Well, you could.
And then go back up?
You could hear. Maybe we could do it just this way until they call you in for the next.
Okay.
Thing.
I'll listen in.
You want to listen in?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What? What happened? What's that? Hulkster in heaven. Did you want to hear that? Now?
No, I just before.
All right, Patrice. Anthony, what is this audio again? I know you don't want to talk, but it's from what, the early 70s or no, the early 60s?
It's like early 60s. Yeah, they called them trainables.
Yeah, they're basically retards that they felt like they could train to be part of society, Patrice.
Oh.
And they had these instructional films. And some of these films are up on FoundryMusic.com right now. And so, these trainables, they were called trainables, had questions about things that happened, sexually. And then they would have people guide them through the answer to their problem.
I'm listening. I'm just filling out paperwork. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So we could start with the I'm Sticky one again. This will be the third time we played the I'm Sticky.
Oh, yeah, why? Oh, so Patrice could hear it?
Yeah, just so Patrice could hear it. Basically, this kid woke up sticky.
And he's retarded.
He's retarded, but they call him trainables. He's a trainable.
Okay.
So now some adult figure is going to explain what happened to him. Patrice thinks this is some gag. This is a real deal.
These are real videos they were using to show you that you could train retards to be like how you talk to retarded people and how you help them assimilate into society. These are real from the 60s.
Trainables.
Yes.
Okay.
Mom.
Oh, wait.
Yes, hi.
Didn't have a cue.
Wrong one, Opie.
I'm sorry. See, I can't do this without Anthony.
Burning on urination. No.
All right, here we go.
Hey, Frank. How come you haven't gotten up yet?
I'm waiting sticky.
Oh. When did that happen? Did it happen during the night? Or did it just happen now? Do you know?
No.
Well, if you're sticky, maybe it was a wet dream. You know what a wet dream is?
No.
Well, how old are you now? You must be about.
I see the face you're making, Patrice.
You know
What's
something?
it look like, Doc?
Hey, what's that?
Well, you've never seen it before?
Looks like a rock.
New from Sedentary Toys and the Opie and Anthony Show.
Oh, it's so shiny.
It's got corners.
It's the cool new toy that has everyone jumping for joy.
O&A Party Rock! It's not just any rock.
It's the O&A Party Rock. The O&A Party Rock is incredibly versatile.
You can chuck it, you can fuck it, you can drop it in a bucket.
You can race it, you can chase it, you can yell right in its face. It's the bestest friend you'll ever have.
O&A Party Rock! Why is it wearing a party hat?
Every Party Rock comes dressed in a colorful party hat and party blower, making it the centerpiece of any party.
Now with shiny red dancing shoes.
Not only that, the O&A Party Rock is
It's a fucking rock, you dildo.
Opie and Anthony, XM202. XM202. The Opie and Anthony Show.
that's so bad. Just continuing through the break, yeah. It's the Opie and Anthony program in studio. Patrice O'Neill playing Vinny's Club, the Stress Factory in New Brunswick this weekend.
Wonderful club, by the way.
Yes. Oh, look at you. Hey, yeah. And the phone number is something, I don't know.
I love
Of course, he's paid. He's compensated for his work.
Yes. Try that again.
He is compensated for his work. I mean, what are we here, communists?
Want to get into the trainable audio? The last four tracks, finally. It only took all week to get to this.
Considering I sound like one today, sure.
Yes, people suggesting that, Anthony. Basically, these are retards that are...
Hey!
Come on.
There's no way to talk.
Mentally challenged.
What happened?
There's just no way to talk.
What happened?
They teach a family about love and tolerance.
Well, they're retards that can be trained.
Mentally challenged.
So they came up with this term, trainables.
They teach you how to love something and cleverly position it behind furniture for family pictures.
Oh, God. Why
my
you know
God.
so many bad things about...
Hey, why are there
bad words?
Why are there two ears sticking out behind that couch? For no reason.
Who's behind that plan? Pete Rose?
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Awful retarded haircut poking over the rhododendron.
Well, these were instructional videos that were out in the early 60s, Anthony. And, you know, they have problems just like you and I. And they need someone to instruct them.
Yeah.
So, you know, retards have to date, right?
Hey, mentally have challenge. Whatever.
Yes, that's not retards
yeah, they have to
anymore.
date. Right. Like 1955, Opie.
Yeah, they don't even have that word anymore.
Come on.
So we have audio.
Ba 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 bang a dang dang a dang a. Yeah, look at the retard. Dang a dang dang dang. Hey, fucking retard.
What song you want to hear on this jukebox, retard?
Hey, look at the retards with the colored guy.
Come here, you can look cooler than that, retard. Roll your cigarettes up in your sleeve, you damn retard.
Car on fire. It was a misdemeanor.
Now, retard, go slap his wrist. That's not nice. You go to jail. Okay, I'm going now, retard.
Look at that tongue. It looks like Thunderbird Lane.
Oh, man. That's not right. That ain't right.
Can we go to the tape?
Oh, boy.
Sure. All right.
That's what he's doing. He's putting the penis into the hole between your legs.
The girls are not confused by the introduction of different positions or moralizations.
Pregnant.
If the retardate can understand sexual intercourse, future sessions could include related responsibilities, such as appropriate times and places, and the purpose of birth control.
Any and anywhere.
The purpose of birth control? That's a mirror. That's how you teach what the purpose of birth control would be.
Yeah,
Look, genetic mess.
That's a training tape you should use right there. The proper place to have sex and when and how.
Birth control.
You see a hole, you pull your pants down.
Because you're already walking around humping. Humping for no reason. That ain't right. That just ain't right. Retard.
He said the retard.
Retardate. He didn't need retardate?
Retardate?
He's French.
It just kind of jumps into the middle of the clip here. Let's listen again.
That's what he's doing. He's putting the penis into the hole between your legs.
The girls are not confused by the introduction of different positions or moralizations. If the retardate can understand sexual intercourse, it could include related responsibilities, such as appropriate times and places, and the purpose of birth control.
Oh. Genetic disaster.
Well, the next one's really good. Ricky gets caught J-O-ing.
Who?
Ricky.
Ricky?
Our intern?
Ricky, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the tape.
Figures you would do it in the wrong place.
What is this now? What are you pointing at?
It's a Ricky drop.
Oh, no, all right. Do you have the Ricky interview?
Yeah.
Ricky the intern? Oh,
Is
very
it good?
Yeah, fits right in.
Eric likes nodding on the radio.
Yes.
Don't be shy.
All right, here's a retard named Ricky getting caught J-O-ing.
Oh, excuse me, Ricky. Ricky, I did see what you were doing. It felt good, didn't it?
All right, Stevie.
And in the background, you hear security, aisle 5. Right idea, wrong place, Dumbo head.
Yeah, you caught me, baby. Now what?
And you know it's a big retard cock.
Oh, man.
You know those fat retard dicks?
And
I
he's
bet
jerking it with 2 hands.
his thumbs aren't even touching.
It disturbs me that you know what a retard's cock looks like. That disturbs me for many reasons.
Oh, they're just big fat ones. They're long, fat,
How
awful.
the fuck do you know that?
I went to high
Lord
school.
Always takes away something. When he takes away something, he gives a
Yeah.
little something extra.
Their legs are always fat. Their heads are always big, right? The Down syndrome. Their tongues are fat. Well, why shouldn't the cock be big and delicious as well?
Just like the tongue.
All uncut. It looks like one of the Acela trains. I'm really going out on a limb trying to say Acela.
Yeah, exactly.
What an ass.
Yeah, choo-choo is easier.
Giant helmet, look like Vinny's head.
Come on.
Hey, leave this boy's life haircut alone. Vinny knows a thing or two about a thing or two.
La da dee, la da da, la da da da, la 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 la, life goes on. There you go, corky head asshole.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you caught me J.O., huh, baby?
I saw what you did. Let's
continue listening.
Oh, excuse me, Ricky. Ricky, I did see what you were doing. It felt good, didn't it? It's all right. We all have feelings like this sometimes. I'm just glad you're doing this in the privacy of your own room. When you're a little bit older, we'll have to talk more about these feelings and what causes them and how we can control these feelings. I'm sorry I intruded on your privacy. I'll be sure to knock next time, okay?
Next thing you hear is him trying to stroke her hair, and then he smothers her in a barn.
Wait. Don't leave. Where you going, Sister Rush?
And the poor retard's just trying to jerk off in his room, and this bitch marches right in. She's the problem.
knocking, bitch.
Sorry, I didn't knock. I just walked in because you're stupid. You're normally just eating crayons.
Nice retarded load right on her back. Good for her. Get out and take this with you. Swish.
And you know he wasn't even doing it right. He was probably going like left, right, left, right, left, right.
Punching it. I'm coming. Ooh. One fat kick to the groin.
Leaves that low chromosome batch all over her back.
And when
now with less chromosomes.
And when he comes, he sounds like regular. He goes, I'm coming. Oh, that was fantastic.
Women, yeah, because there's no chromosome, so it doesn't put calories on.
For those of you on a chromosome-free diet, there's Corky batch.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. That really made me feel much better.
Well, we take it to the next level. The next one is a trainable J-O-ing in art class.
In art class. All right.
True video.
How are you doing, Sandy? Okay, Sandy?
What are you doing? Okay, you stop and finish your picture, okay? All right? Finish your snowman.
If a trainable does not respond to verbal admonition for masturbating in front of others, she is removed from the group. This is repeated as many times as necessary until she realizes this is not acceptable social behavior. If they cannot be made to understand through this method, they may need special help.
Anyone who is pro-life should look at footage of a retard masturbating in front of a half-finished snowman picture.
Oh, you know what? I thought when she said finish your snowman, she was meaning finish doing what you was doing.
No, it was art class.
Yeah,
I thought he was
drawing a snowman. You simpleton.
I thought she was calling that finishing snowman.
How easily distracted are you when somewhere between the little hat and the corncob pipe you got to rub your clit?
Look at the tits on that snowman.
Oh, sweetie, finish this fishy little snowman.
Finish your square snowman, stupid. Looks like a snow house.
Finish your snow cube.
And you know she didn't know it was a snowman until Dumbbell said it was. Oh, look, 3 straight lines. It's a snowman. Oh, good job.
No man.
And you know she had paint all over her fingers. Her snatch looked like Tammy Faye Baker.
It's a no man, no.
Oh, it's
painting.
It's all the wrong color. Brown snowman. You dummy.
Yeah, slap the shit out of you, stupid idiot. It's a no man, no. It's snowing. Oh, look at Vinny. Vinny, what's wrong? You got some retarded kids in your house?
No, this is it's very funny.
Uh-oh.
No, I don't give a shit. I can't.
You know what it is?
Look, I don't care. I have no
I can't.
Vinny
No,
has
this is where
retarded evenings. He has retarded, like, he sells out retarded shows, special Wednesday night trainee show, or what is it? Trainable shows. It's Vinny and Keith Robinson doing trainable shows. Sit down.
Some trainables may masturbate in front of the comedian.
Stop fucking the chicken wings, sweetie. You don't have a part in it.
This trainable has a hot wing in her ass.
Oh, sweetie. Doesn't the sauce burn? No!
And the prank phone calls, he calls the trainable's parents, your child got an A today. Really? No, we're at the comedy club. He's eating a napkin.
He serves him napkins. What's something? Yes, hamburger. Here's a napkin. Hi.
Wait, Vinny's having a problem with this, though.
Oh, Vinny don't like it. Tell the truth, Vinny.
No, it's very. I can't necessarily chime in on trainables.
Why?
Yeah.
Do you
he
know
has
any?
a trainable haircut. Look.
Something maybe
retarded bangs.
I have trainables answering my phones at the club. I'm just saying that it's funny. Go ahead, maybe something will pop out.
Why is there somebody that you know that's a
yes?
Okay.
Oh boy.
So that's it. But it doesn't.
By the way, I knew that from the beginning. So
Did
we
you?
start. Oh yeah, I saw it in his eyes.
Yeah.
Well, let me explain.
You're being
this
a good
is
sport,
more
Vinny.
a parody on the films themselves. We're goofing on the people that put together these archaic films on training mentally challenged people.
Have you heard the things I've said?
Yeah, I want to, it's not that I'm carrying a poster in front of the station, don't listen or anything, but fucking Norton is definitely not parodying anything.
I'm just a scumbag, dude.
Dirtball.
Norton's trying to put asses in the seats. Preferably not trainables.
I felt that from the beginning.
I caught Vinny trying to like be a sport.
He was trying to be cool. He was trying to be cool about
He had a trainable shirt, a trainable head.
Yeah.
You and your dumb trainable face. Get over it, Vinny. I seen you laughing at diabetics.
That's a good point.
That's only you.
Leave soon to have Sleestack feet alone.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness, Paul. Man, what are you gonna do, Vinny?
I'm just listening. It's very funny. I don't expect a man like you to understand because you don't have a decency chromosome.
Yes, I do, man.
No, you
and
fucking
I know
do not.
people who have retarded kids and the whole thing. Everybody get laughed at.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I can't necessarily chime in on it.
Some retarded kid jerking off in class is funny on any planet.
Frankly,
any
Patrice,
planet,
I'm
on
hoping
any level, anywhere, anytime.
Also, don't forget hot. I mean, I'm sorry, but you know she's not modest.
And you know you'll love that uncontrolled retarded piss where they just piss when they don't even know it, and no one's there to catch them. Oh, they're pissing.
He's in the classroom on one of those mechanic crawlers they used to get under the cars with, just sliding from seat to seat. Oh, getting pissed off. Oh, there goes Janie.
Oh, look at Vinny. Oh, poor
Vinny.
fella.
No, listen, I'm not laughing.
I almost feel like we shouldn't play the
next one.
Please play.
Not only do I feel we should play the last one, we should replay the first three.
We have one more left.
Are you mad?
No.
This is finally it. The last one. About improper touching.
Oh.
Can you teach values or sexual morality to a trainable?
If you don't teach them, there's always the chance that they'll get in trouble, and they can be arrested.
Teachers should not thrust their own moral values on their students. There are too many conflicting moral systems today. This is the responsibility of the family, if available. However, it is the teacher's duty to enlighten their students on the commonly accepted standards of sexual behavior. No one should use the body of an unwilling partner for their own pleasure. Unprotected and unplanned sexual intercourse is wrong. And no one need allow anyone to touch their bodies if they do not want them to. We may not always succeed in reaching the trainables. We must always try.
Oh, that one's boring.
Yeah. Patrice would never get laid if he followed those rules.
But oh man, wow! I was gonna say they're teaching them not to commit rape. That's useful.
Yeah, very useful, Patrice.
That's very useful.
They probably use more practical language. Keep those sticky hands off the neck of the girl in the flowered dress.
No, that was it.
Yeah, kind of a downer ending.
We didn't end on an up note on that one.
That's all right. It's
All right.
educational as well as.
Of course.
It's
All right.
educational as well as.
All
right.
Oh, God. This is Sex Education for Trainables. It's from 1975, I think. It looks earlier.
And you know what a trainable is, right, Jim Jeffries?
No.
A trainable, back then they called them trainables.
The retardation isn't too bad.
It's a retard.
Oh, you can train them.
That they assume,
and they call them trainable.
Could be rotated back into society.
That's a great word. They should bring that back.
Trainables.
It's like I'm capable.
Is that
one's trainable?
That's 18 or 20 incantations of what to call them before now, because that would never wash right now. Trainable. Yeah, it's a trainable. We called him before that. He was called a fucking animal.
Yeah.
And that was politically correct.
It went trainable, then thing with feet.
Old giant tongue.
It's a good way of marking out evolution.
Yeah. See what words they use for retarded people. And now retarded isn't even good.
Why is there so many dislikes on this video? This is a classic video.
Oh, come on.
What you think?
That's every parent.
Why? Yeah. Why do you think?
Come on, man.
Yeah.
One like and one dislike.
Oh, is that what I just see the bars from this distance.
The dislikes are everybody that
Why
had
is there
to
only
do this.
40 views? Why is there only 40 views?
This is probably on the internet 30,000 times over.
So this is one of the corners that are
always
barely
posted.
poked at. All right, let's. I want to hear this.
I think that there's a couple different of the trainable jerking off clips. So this is one of them. I don't know if it's the exact one you're talking about, but we'll see.
Yes. Hey, Frank.
No,
How come you haven't gotten up yet?
I'm waiting sticky.
Oh. When did that happen? Did it happen during the night? Or did it just happen now? Do you know?
No.
Can you pause that? Because fucking Frank looks like Big A. It's really creepy.
He does.
But smarter.
I assume he's always wet and sticky, just movement.
Well, they tend to just be wet and sticky.
And the
I'm
adult
unwashed.
The adult seems to be enjoying this a little too much.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me lick that off of you.
Yeah. Does he look like the fucking like the guy who's about to be bitten in every silent Dracula film? The fucking retard.
Nosferatu comes in.
And has the tard requested that everything in his house be a
a light brown. Like no colour picture.
That's because he shits on everything. They just he had a white rug and I realized quickly that was an error. That stupid picture hanging up.
Might as well make clean up easy.
Yeah, he's got a picture on his wall of a candle and a jug.
Kevin from Connecticut's going nuts for retard.
I'll bet you that picture's hanging up. They said, could you paint a picture of things you've murdered people with? he's trying to paint the hammer for the next installation.
Things that are smarter than you. A bolt.
Yeah, potted plant and a fucking hat. Nice cum in the pants, dumbbell.
Holy shit. You remember what I said about our next guest?
Yes.
All right. Oh, Christ. All right, let's go through this.
Well, if you're sticky, maybe it was a wet dream. You know what a wet dream is?
Who brought the music in?
McCartney.
Yeah, he's at the door going, not cool.
Retardney.
It was a wet dream. What were you thinking of?
My career hadn't gone good since the Beatles. I did a lot of training bull videos.
And then the retard has to tell me that he was dreaming about stepping on a kitten's head.
They didn't tell you that the retard's Mark Chapman.
Fuck yeah. There you go. Nice. I guess
discussing it.
No,
They're discussing.
They're discussing it.
I guess it was a little too graphic.
Now, I can say, you know how to keep a secret.
Oh, good. Stan Lee is helping him.
There is no scolding or recrimination.
No.
The boy is not frightened.
Jesus, he looks like
and there is
Berkowitz.
no reason for him to feel guilty.
Frank, I'm sure you understand now just what happened.
Or Andy Kaufman after a bad gig.
Yeah. On the way to the Philippines to get cancer treatment.
Holy shit.
Fuck.
Like normal, right?
Yeah.
We have 9 minutes of this.
I know, right?
Show you how to clean it up.
Jesus.
Okay.
Clean it up.
That's great.
Now clean it up! Oh,
now
shit.
all the old band's going to help him.
Oh, he's getting him up.
Yeah. You should hand him a cactus. Here, clean it with this. Yeah, plug in an iron here. You have to rub this over the dirty area. Stoop.
Or your mommy will die. She freaks out.
Oh, this guy's the greatest.
Oh, look at that awful painting.
No, everything's a light brown.
Those are one of the things Hitler would paint. You ever see Hitler's art?
Yes. Hitler's art was almost good.
Yeah.
Hitler's art looked like he did everything with rulers. There was no curvature in something.
No.
If it was a rainbow, it would have been a box.
Hence the swastika. No real curves.
Swastika.
Yeah, a lot of right angles.
Yeah, originally it was meant to be an infinity symbol.
Let's hear what Ty Johnson has to say.
Section. One that everyone dreads, or is embarrassed by,
Yeah.
or tries to avoid completely.
A meeting with management.
Yeah. He looks like Karloff.
Or sex, or screwing, or whatever you want to call it.
Rape.
And the lady's lying down.
Oh, no.
Sandy?
Yes.
These
Is
are
the
the
lady
females.
lying down on her back?
Yes.
Okay. And the man's lying down on top
Who
of
the
her.
fuck is going to fuck these
Right.
two?
Oh, well.
Frank.
Believe me, some of the girls I've been with, not as smart.
That a man and
Can you pause that? I wish the
These
audience could see
dummies.
just the heads turning, looking away from the chart. They have no idea what she's talking about.
No clue.
They're sitting on an awful fucking light green
They're
shag
not
rag.
trainable.
Carpet.
One of them looks like Anne Frank.
And this one looks like Shirley Feeney on the end.
The one's wearing a skirt with a black, black stockings, and little fucking patent leather shoes.
She's asking for it.
She looks like Shirley.
Yeah, she does.
What happened? I don't know. He sang Rags to Riches and then fucking fed me paint chips.
Let's hear her describe sex.
His penis gets hard.
Oh,
see?
Yeah.
Okay, it gets hard and it sticks out from its
it's hard
body.
like math.
And that's when the man...
Fucking dunce.
And it sticks out like you do in a family photo.
Oh, shit.
Into the hole that the lady has between her legs.
Oh, shit.
Okay? Now see?
They're not
That's what he's doing. He's putting the penis into the hole between her legs.
She looks like Shane McGowan.
For moralization.
Shane McGowan.
She's wincing.
If the retardate can understand...
The retardate? The retardate? The retardate.
I actually
no, that's what they say when food
I've been on one of
on
those.
Rock's desk.
I thought that was a retarded boy band.
The retardate. Kate plus retardate.
The retardate. It's a Mexican retard.
Yeah.
Holy
shit. Could include related responsibilities, such as appropriate times and places, and the purpose of birth control.
Oh, boy.
Many people believe
that face wouldn't work.
elements of sex education are social behavior and responsibilities.
Nice time.
Social acceptability involves being comfortable with one's own sexuality.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy, is that not a smart look?
Oh, shit, he's jerking off.
That's a child. We're watching a child jerk, is it?
Yeah.
But he's just a fucking child masturbating.
Tussleable.
Jesus.
Oh, no.
Someone's going to walk in.
Someone's walking in.
Too dumb to remember to lock the door.
Uncle Paul helps him out.
Oh, she walks in, he's covering.
Excuse me, Ricky.
Hillary Clinton.
Ricky, I did see what you were doing. It felt good, didn't it?
Jesus!
We all have feelings like this.
When my mother caught me doing that, she said I was disgusting.
Yeah.
Right? And then she went and told my eldest brother, and my eldest brother came in the room and said, geez, I hope we don't have to move or anything. I'll keep it secret, but I don't know how long for. Like, I was the only person ever did it. And then, like, years later, I bring it up at Christmas, and they're like, oh, that was killer. Oh.
What guilt they poured on you.
My mother came and grabbed the duvet, and I was holding on to this. Is 300 pounds of misery, my mum, right? She's bending right
She's
back.
a big girl, right?
And then I had one choice because I was naked. It was the middle of the day, right? Fucking 110 degrees of Australian heat, like in your measurement, right?
Yeah.
I'm sitting under my bed having a wank. My mum walks in the room. I throw the magazine down the side of the bed in one motion, and she goes, clean this fucking room up. And she goes, why are you laying in your bed? I went, just having a nap,
Having a nap.
And she just goes, well, get up now. And she goes, why aren't you getting up? I said, I will get up. Can you get the fuck out? She starts pulling on my duvet.
Oh,
my erection strengthens. No, she's pulling on my duvet. I'm panicking like, oh, fuck. And I'm going, please, Mum, no.
Oh,
but I had to make a decision, right? She's a big woman. I had to make a decision. I let go of the duvet. She goes flying backwards into the cupboard, and I flip onto my stomach as quick as possible.
Gave you a little time.
Yeah, so I've still got this sweaty fucking bald ass sticking up, and a 300-pound mum crying and falling on the ground. Things couldn't have gone worse. Anyway, enough about me. Back to the retards.
Sometimes. I'm just glad you're doing this in the privacy of your own room.
Right. Instead of on the highway like last time.
About these feelings and what causes them and how we can control these
Could you
feelings.
fucking leave and let me finish?
I'm sorry I intruded on your privacy. I'll be sure to knock next time. Okay?
Right. Sounds like Sam's mom. That's how Sam's mom would do it.
Absolutely.
Right?
This manner of response frees
No
the
emotion by
child
that
of
lady.
guilt
Now the kid's
and
just like-
assures him he is normal. It opens communication between parent and child and introduces the
No, it
concept
creeps
of
you out.
responsibility for his behavior.
I was just staring at the door where it was.
Yeah.
I'm going to ring my nephew and
thinking of his mom.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, here we go.
Back to
A whole
the
table
retards.
of them.
Okay. What are you making? A rabbit.
Shit in my pants.
You really
No income forever.
What are you making?
Oh,
Can you
Christ.
tell me what you're making? 1, 2.
A nuisance of yourself?
Oh, that's nice.
She's fucking diddling her
diddling
pussy
herself
at
under the table.
Oh, yeah. That's how she's finger painting.
She's got a period. I don't remember giving them red paint. She's fucking. She was diddling herself. Now the teacher's got to come over.
Stop and finish your picture, okay?
Oh, boy.
yeah.
And don't touch the fucking crayons with those filthy fingers.
Thank you, man.
Oof.
Jesus. Oh, now that retard's got a
You wanna
hankering
hang
for fish
fish in that
sticks.
art contest? Yes.
Why is there some crayons missing?
Well, you You want to make another one?
If a trainable does not respond to verbal admonition for masturbating in front of others,
She walks in with a
is
cow prod.
removed from the group. This
She
is
can't
repeated
stop.
as many times as necessary until she realizes this is not
This is like
acceptable
reverse slavery.
social behavior.
It really is.
If they cannot be made to understand through
Would
this
it be better? She's just walk her out
They
the
may
room
need
and into an elevator shaft.
Yeah, the trainable is being walked out of the room by Jackie Brown. And, right into an elevator.
Just a rolled up newspaper.
Yeah, on the nose, on the
Like a dog.
snout.
Get out of it!
Yeah, stop it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, Danny.
Dan-
Oh, Danny.
We
when
know.
the person in charge of the YouTube rewinds it too far.
Yes, while eating an energy bar, smash his face with your cocks collectively.
Everybody's drawing a nice picture.
She's still playing with her cunt.
Stop and finish your picture, okay?
Right.
All right?
Now
It's a bit further on, they walk away.
Yeah, she fucking,
She can't deal. She's got to grab that fucking disgusting
not
pussy.
acceptable social behavior. If they cannot be made to understand through this
What, you got to
method,
put them in another
they
home?
may need special help.
Special help.
Is there a home inside the home?
We are going out to lunch. What are you going to have for lunch, Joe?
oh, good.
This is my old friend Billy. This is my sister.
Oh, great. Two of them,
Right.
two jerk-off
Another
fucking...
method used to teach trainable social skills. Here, two people are learning how to greet each other. The
Like
same
dogs
method
are just
can
sniffing
be
each other's
used
assholes.
He's hitting her with a tennis racket across the teeth.
appropriately.
Billy, alone. You want anybody to have lunch with us? You do? Okay. Why don't you come along with us and have some lunch, okay? Okay. We were going this way.
Oh, yeah? Which way? Yeah, there you go. Oh, boy, does he look dumb.
Yeah. What a fucking murderer he looks like. What an accidental murderer.
His old luck gun.
Retarded Mary Hartman.
Mary Tartman, Mary Tartman.
I'll have lunch too. No, thank you.
Oh, boy.
Maybe.
Yeah. Let's touch our genitals together.
What is this place called? The building of shitty art? There's not one good painting. Oh, great, the urinal.
Oh, no, the urinal. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit. He's touching his... Jimmy does this to me in the bathroom. There's two retards at the urinal, and there's partitions between the urinals. One of them, out of nowhere, just reaches over and starts rubbing the other guy's back.
How many times have we looked at this?
I know.
Like, it's been a bunch of times. I don't ever remember the retard touching the other guy's back.
I remember this. I do remember it in our bathroom, though, because Jimmy will do this to you.
There's a retard that looks like Billie Jean King touching another man's back.
Is he wearing sunglasses or something?
Yeah, he's really creepy.
Yeah, that's so he could catch a glimpse of his
great.
cock.
It's Roy Orbison.
Just how the arm slowly goes
Yeah.
through the urinal. It's so
Fucking
creepy.
Jim Jones
Yeah,
rubbing your
'cause
back.
you know he's definitely not congratulating him. Like, it's obviously sexual. The
A
speed's
pat
a
on the
sexual
back.
smell.
His arm slowly, too, comes around the partition and, like, rubs his back. It's very disgusting. Where does this go? Where does this
Instructing
lead?
them how to recognize
I'll bet you the
and
retard is the guy
avoid
not touching. It's the other guy seducing him.
Trainables are particularly vulnerable.
Oh, it is.
Because of common characteristics of trust, lack of judgment, and desire
And they're big
for
cocks.
affection. These individuals must be trained and exposed to well-supervised...
Plus, there was
No, I got
the guy
I got-
rubbing the back.
I gotta ask you something. If you were in that bathroom, would you stop that or would you just leave?
I would watch it.
I get my phone out and just on video.
He's just rubbing the retarded guy's back. It's like, what are you going to do with that fucking giant retarded hog? How do you not just grab it?
Come on.
But
Go for it.
Isn't he embarrassed by the guy on the left still
No.
being there?
That guy's
No,
jerking
no.
off. He's got a long trench coat on. He's loving this.
Yeah, that's his pal. This is an awful bathroom.
Yeah.
It's Sirius XM
Yeah,
bathroom.
exactly. He's trying to avoid a meeting with management. It's fucking Gary's rubbing his back. Like, come on, we're trying to talk to you. And Bladder's making a weird, like, jughead face.
These
the
guys
retard's
come,
like, I got it.
they come down to the bathroom in the home at the same time every day.
Yeah, what the fuck? Because that guy is the fucking Eric Bloom from Blue Oyster Skulls. He's rubbing the guy's back. He's not retarded, though. The guy that is
That's
getting
being
his
touched
back,
is retarded.
You don't
he's
want-
taking advantage
You
of the
don't want
retard.
any of that tard-on-tard crime.
No.
The trainable is very trusting.
Yes,
So
yes.
He takes the back rubbing as encouragement.
Of course. Oh, my God.
Now the trainable has become the teacher.
And he's fucking eating the urinal cake.
He really, his pants are probably pulled up the whole time. That's the beauty of this. He's actually scooping cereal out and eating it. The guy's rubbing his back like he's stupid. This is wrong. This is a buffet. What are you doing? He just turned around and shit into the urinal. He has no idea. And he's poking his fingers in it. And the guy's rubbing his back like, cut the malarkey, bub.
Yeah. It's all right. We've all been there.
Oh, shit. Is someone going to help this
Is
tard?
this guy watching the video from... Hold on really fast. Brian Stone Quincy writes, congrats, you just had your back rubbed by Judah Freelander. I guess that is true. I guess he found the video at home.
Yeah, he's wearing a hat that says World Champion done.
You ever rubbed the retard? I've rubbed 12.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah. Rub his shoulders. Oh, it's great.
Sounds like a Tarantino film.
Yeah.
Oh, look, he was in a fucking porn store.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Old school peep show, huh?
This is good.
25 cents magazines. I miss those places.
Like the whistling's really...
Yeah, this is Midnight Cowboy. The guy's going to blow John Voight in a movie theater.
John Voight. They're, all it is a...
Can you
a
teach
priest.
values
This
or
is good.
sexual morality to a trainable?
I
If you
can't.
don't teach them, there's always the chance that they'll get in trouble, and they can be arrested.
Teachers should not thrust their own moral values on their students.
So it's going somewhere
There
else.
are too many conflicting moral systems today.
Yeah.
This is the responsibility of the family, if available. However,
dispose of
it is
them.
the
You hear that?
teacher's
For those orphans.
to enlighten their
You heard that,
students
right?
on the
If available,
commonly
you know,
accepted
available, yeah.
standards of sexual
Ditched.
behavior. No one should use the body of an unwilling partner for their own pleasure.
Says What? you.
Unprotected and
How
unplanned
things have changed.
Supposed to get laid.
intercourse is wrong. And no one need
Slip a
allow
doofy in
anyone
their drink.
to touch their bodies if they do not want them to. We may not always succeed in reaching the trainables.
The trainable.
We must always try.
Yeah. Oh, God. That was a montage of retards with horrible haircuts.
Yeah. These are all people who go into Rosemary's Baby's fucking shower. 1972 video. Yeah.
Like that retard looks like she's staring into the sun the whole time. What's wrong with
Stop
you?
squinting, madam.
Jeez. Those big dumb ears. Oh, just hearing everything and understanding nothing. What a waste of ears.
They really are. They're like two fucking giant empty bowls, just waiting for a delicious treat to be put in them.
They just go dramatized sequences. They used real retards, though, didn't they? These
They did, yeah.
Yeah, who wants to put this on their fucking
In the old
IMDb?
days,
This isn't like Sean Penn.
IMDb, I am dumbbell.
All of a sudden, you're not in the movie anymore. You're like, that is the worst acting I've ever seen on screen.
There was
Oh, man, what a set of tits.
There's a show on over the weekend, and we got to get it on we got to tape it so we can play some clips. I caught it at the halfway mark. It's retarded people putting on a production of The Wizard of Oz. All retarded cast.
What, do they all want a brain?
And I guess it goes. Dan, you saw some of this, right? The retarded people doing The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I only saw as much as you did.
Yeah, you saw about as much as me. Now, the beginning of it, I would gather.
Wait, really fast. What character wanted a brain in The Wizard of Oz?
The Scarecrow.
The Scarecrow. So,
Yeah.
all right.
The Scarecrow was, well, all I saw, we came in at the in the middle, so I'm not sure how they picked the parts, and I was a little disappointed because apparently they didn't get the rights to the music for this documentary, so anytime they break in a song, you just see them singing, but they put some other music to it. It's ridiculous. I want to see them singing, everybody on the had a band.
Ding dong, my future's dead.
The one part that had me howling though is the Tin Man.
Yeah.
The Tin Man is played by a retarded black guy with these huge Coke bottle glasses, and he's handicapped, so he's in a wheelchair. Now, in order to have him move around inconspicuously, he's being pushed by someone in a tree costume. So there's a tree pushing a retarded black Tin Man around, and he just holds an axe limply in his lap.
What station was this on? We got to get
Oh,
this.
it was one of those
Cinemax. It re-airs the January 2nd, so we'll have
January 2nd, we will tape the whole thing, and the Dorothy and all of them. The lack of any emotion.
What was the dog's name? Was it Dodo? Oh, I want to go back to Kansas. What happened? Did a storm take you away? No, I'm just too fucking stupid to remember how to get back to Kansas.
It's right there by the sign that says, "Welcome to Kansas, you idiot."
The brick road is only yellow because stupid tinkled in his pants again. Follow the yellow brick shoe tops.
I'm melting.
They had the Munchkins, little Munchkin retards, all the characters, all the costumes, and they were all of them, so completely devoid of emotion. Like, their acting was, not that they should be Olivier, believe me, but their acting is just like, we have to go see the wizard. What are we going to do? I don't know. I don't have a brain. The wizard will get you a brain. Follow me. That's the whole thing from what I saw as far as their acting chops went. One was going, oh, maybe we could be able to go and get the wizard. I'll get you some cards.
Get the thing.
But the teacher talked about how much progress they had made, so we can only assume that the first half.
Yeah. The teacher is like, I'm amazed at the progress they have made up to this point, and we're halfway through. They're already through dress rehearsals and stuff. And I want to see from the beginning how they chose. No, this one isn't functional enough to be in it. You got to be a fucking tree that pushes the wheelchair. You're the Tin Man.
What's a retarded tree look like? The roots are on top. The apples are by his feet.
Gotta see the whole thing.
Oh, I really want to see the retarded Wizard of Oz.
January 2nd, we'll have to take that one. Hey, we have...
Pay no attention to that man underneath the Shemp wig.
Oh, my God. Do they have the scene of the witch melting and stuff?
Yeah, it's the entire show. The entire show.
Where the kid is screaming, I'm melting, I'm melting.
Yeah.
Somebody throws him a book. I'm melting.
So is your DNA, you daffy bastard.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch? I'm a fucking retarded witch. What?
Guys,
which one is that?
It's amazing when you do a national talk show. We have one of the actors that actually was part of this production.
Wow.
Hi, who's this?
It's me again. Lady Di.
And you were in this production of The Wizard of Oz?
No, I was not in the production of The Wizard of Oz.
No sense of direction. I'm the Wicked Witch of that way.
A fucking big Down syndrome head falls out of the sky and crushes the evil witch.
And she just talks over you. And here's some tape of the production. Go ahead.
Yeah. So
just talk. That's what it sounded like.
Can you sing a song from The Wizard of Oz?
I would like to see that.
Shut your mouth. Can you sing something like maybe Ding Dong, My Liver's Dead?
Ding Dong, My Husband's Dead, or My Husband's Dead.
A choo-choo train went through his head.
Ding Dong, the crossing didn't come down.
Be nice now.
They should have had the Progeria kids play the monkeys in this production of The Wizard of Oz.
Where's the show playing at?
Toot, toot, the train is coming.
Where's the show playing at?
Better watch out. My husband ain't running. Toot, toot. Yes?
No, it wasn't my husband.
Yes, it was your husband. Lady Di's husband, by the way, people, got hit by a train.
That's right.
No.
Yeah.
All right, Lady Di, hold on.
Come on.
We'll get to the bottom.
Yeah, hold on for 2 seconds.
Thanks for going with the bit, by the way,
Yeah,
you stupid
great.
twat.
Good job.
She really is radio lead.
All right, so we'll get that.
Yeah.
Getting back to The Ringer, by the way, really fast another observation. They had special people acting in this movie.
Oh, see, they had to have the real special people.
Yeah,
like
well,
Life Goes
like
On
I said,
with Corky.
Yeah, they were all Life Goes On type of actors, and like I said, the Special Olympics actually endorsed this movie. That's when you know, oh great, I'm in for a treat. And then, but this is the observation. Then they had regular actors playing special people. And you're like, you weren't really sure which ones. Some were very obvious. That's a special person. That's an actor. But then there were the ones that you weren't really sure.
Yeah.
It's got to be a hell of a audition for an actor in Hollywood. You
Play
know?
a retard.
You're going to be in this movie because we think you look like a retard.
Got to be the easiest role, though, to do. Got to be the easiest role.
Let's go to Mike.
You just,
Every time Eric Logan walked by the office, they're like, "You, the hair is perfect. Get in here." What?
No, I'm just trying to make a deal with your company and XM. Jesus. Leave me alone, right.
Yeah, I just want you to put these into every new Down syndrome head that comes out. I want it to be XM friendly.
They're handing him a tracksuit and a tracksuit and some Nikes. Jesus, I fucked that up. It was so good, too, in my mind. Mike on Long Island. Fuck.
Hey, what's going on?
Thanks for giving me a second try, by the way. I really appreciate that.
Hey,
Fuck.
The Tin Man, instead of the oil funnel can hat, did he have like a spray painted silver hockey helmet on?
It was really bad because they tried to put this silver paint on his black face, and it just didn't work. It didn't work.
Yeah.
The black just came through.
It always
like a
does.
shine. And then at the end, God, I wish I could remember his. It was like the closing line. They were getting lines from all these people, and the Tin Man is sitting in the dressing room in the back in his little tin suit with his axe and his huge thick glasses, and he said something like, "Oh yeah, it was," and he's had those fucked up retard teeth that almost come straight out of their face, like they're not straight down like people's teeth; they grow out.
All open garage door teeth.
I don't understand that. I mean, you can still see a freaking dentist.
Big tongue car driving out of the garage. Blah!